All right. Hello, everyone. How y'all doing today? It's good to be here. I hope you're all having a good weekend. I think this is the first time I've ever streamed on a weekend. Maybe. Actually, it's probably happened before at some point. There was a time I used to stream like several days a week. But how y'all doing? Hope you're having a good time. It might be the first time I've streamed on a weekend in a long time, at least. So we're here today to talk some Warzone, some Warzone.com. We're going to be going over everything that is new in the new update. 5.24 just dropped this week, brand new. We're going to be going over everything that's in the update, as well as maybe a few other things that were not announced in the update. A couple secret things. I trust you guys can keep a secret, right? And we're going to be answering any questions from the community. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in chat. I haven't seen any yet. But yeah, so let's get into it. So first, I realized that when I do these, I feel like I should give some context. Oh, also I see my mic is like maxing out. Is it too loud? I don't know if that's a problem. I feel like I should give some context in terms of like what this game is. I know most of you guys that watch this are like Warzone veterans. You know what the game is. You know everything that's going on here. But some people might be new. Some people might not have the right context. Some people might just play idle and not really know what Warzone's all about. So Warzone is this turn-based strategy game. It was launched back in 2008 by me. I am the only person that works on it. It is my full-time job, and I've been working on it now for, 15 years. I can't believe that. It's crazy. But yeah, I've been working on this game for the majority of my adult life, and I plan to continue working on it for as long as I can, basically until I die. That's my plan. And Warzone was originally, of course, the turn-based strategy game inspired by Risk, where you move your armies around on a map, conquer things. And 2021 Idle came out. Is that right? Or 2020? No, 2020 Warzone Idle launched, which is, if you play Warzone Idle, you already know what it is. If you don't know what Idle is, you're fine. Will there ever be a Warlight 3.0 Warzone 2.0? Not planning on anything like that right now. Do you plan on making community matchmaking easier? Right now, it's a little hard. I'm always up for making things easier. I don't currently have any plans on making it easier. I'd be interested in hearing what parts of it you found hard. There's certain parts of it that I think maybe could be made easier, but it might not be the same parts that you're getting stuck on. So it's hard to really answer that. Warzone equals Warlight 2.0. Yes, that is correct. Although technically the version number, although I consider this the version number of like the code. The version number of the code is 5.24.0. I consider that the version number of like the code base, which not necessarily like the version of the product. Because technically it's Warzone, which is Warlight 2.0. Although I kind of dropped that. For those that don't know, this game was originally called Warlight. In 2017, it was launched as a sequel called Warzone. Originally, I put Warlight 2 underneath the title here, and then after a while, I just removed that because it's just its own thing now. Is there going to be a ladder refresh of 4v4? No plans for that right now. Even the 3v3 is not popular enough, in my opinion. I don't think there's enough people interested in a 4v4. So yeah, let's go over what on into this week's update. So the big thing in this week's update is the ladders. So the ladders are a feature that has existed for a long time. They were originally launched, in 2011, I think is what I wrote. Yeah, 2011, we got ladders, but they really haven't changed much since then. There's been a couple minor changes over the years, but for the most part, they've remained relatively stagnant. And there's a lot of things that were fundamentally flawed about them and other things that were not as ideal. So this week's ladder update improves things a whole bunch. So so ladders, if you don't know what a ladder is, it's just like a competitive arena. You join the ladder, you get games, you play your games, and then you get a rating. And now there's opportunities for rewards and all sorts of other stuff. I'll go over what all the ladders are and the word. Who's winning right now? Octane. Nice work. So in this week's ladder update, all the ratings were reset. So everyone started back over at 100. So Octane has managed to take number 1 in this week, which is a very small sample size, but it's still, hey, better be number 1 than number 2. After this big update, can we expect some follow-up ladder updates in the near future? I'd love mods on the seasonal ladder, for example. Yeah, I'd love mods on the seasonal ladder as well. That is something I actually wanted to do that as part of this update, but this update was just getting too big, so I ended up punting it, and I do hope to do that in the short term. Or automatic notifications for all concerned players every time a new season starts. That is already done. There will be a notification every time. It'll happen when the season ends, and it will announce the template for the next season. The only exception is it didn't happen for this season because I started it manually. But on all future seasons, you should have that for now on, yes. Just coming to say thank you for the game. You play quite a lot. Great. I'm glad you enjoy it. Thanks for stopping by. For a notification on the app, don't you know you did Twitch? It's the player petition with 70 signatures returning the ladder. What is the most challenging part for you in this ladder overhaul? The ladder overhaul really took a lot longer than I thought it would. There were 2 big things. One thing is just rebuilding all the UI, and I'm still not entirely happy with this ladder UI, to be honest. I don't think it's very good, but I might work on it more. Rebuilding all the UI, and also the other thing is we changed it so instead of being centered on teams, it's centered on players. So there was a big internal code overhaul, because there used to be this concept called a ladder team, which is basically, even if you joined the ladder by yourself, you basically were in a team of 1 person. And in the new ladder refresh, that is not the case. So a lot of the code had to be updated because of that, and it just took a long time. There's a lot of code that needed to be updated, but thankfully it's all done now. For the team ladders, can you comment on why rankings are individual, and if a low player rank joins the high rank player, can the low player? Yeah, so let's go over that. Let's go through the ladder refresh real fast, and then we'll talk about the questions you guys have. Can you I'm just gonna postpone any questions about the ladder until we've gone over it a little bit, and then if I still don't answer your question, please ask it again once we get to that relevant section. Can you make being a member more beneficial? I am always looking at ways to making a member more beneficial. There have been things that have been added somewhat recently. I can't remember the last thing. Mods, maybe. But yeah, the goal is always to make membership beneficial. Everybody should want to be a member. Everybody that plays Warzone Classic, I should say, should want to be a member. It's not an idle thing, but everyone that plays Classic should want to be a member. And if it's not, then I would ideally do something to make it better. I just arrived. Maybe someone has already mentioned the problem. Since the new update a few ago, the game has come very slow. I play only in single player community level. The more the game goes on, the more the game slows down. I have heard of this. I've had one person report this bug to me. I'm not aware of anything in this update that would make it slow, but because now there's been multiple people who reported it, I do believe you. I haven't seen it myself. What I would like you to do is go to the report bug page. At the bottom of every page, there's a contact link. And then you can go to report bug. Fill this out, and if you can, give me details on how to reproduce it, because in order for me to fix this, I need to make it happen myself. So I'd be really interested in knowing what community level you're playing and how long it takes to get slow and how slow it gets. If you could tell me those things, and if you can reproduce it reliably, that'd be great. Can you show what the new colors look like in the ladders, or is it a surprise? Yeah, I'll keep it as a surprise for now. No reason to show it. The people that earn it can show it off when they get it. Not an expert on the game, even though I spend way too much longer than I should admit. Being on the apps business, got a full device would be good to auto-expand without having to restart the app. Ooh, I don't know. I've never used a full device, so I didn't know that was a problem. And I don't even know how to fix that, to be honest. I do hope to get my hands on a full device at some point, at which point I'll fix that. I don't know how to fix that because I've never used a full device. But ideally, yes, it should work. Should auto-expand, I guess, is the right thing to do. I didn't even know it wasn't. Is there any chance of getting a confirmation box over public chat? Probably 10% of games are ruined by players actually posted in the wrong chat. Really? I've never heard that. So, feature requests. I've never heard of this feature request before, but yeah, if you have a feature request, this is a good candidate for user voice. And I still don't know. Does user voice look like this for you guys? Every time I go to user voice, it looks like absolute garbage. Like the text is over here in a small column on the right, and it's like overlapping other words. If I go into incognito window, does that still happen? It does. It's been that way for like years. Does that happen in Firefox? Yeah, it happens in Firefox too. I really don't understand how user voice has not fixed this. This is the fundamental thing user voice does, is they show you a list of ideas. But yeah. When I scroll down, these look okay. Well, one looks okay. I think these are broken. You giving up fighting Call of Duty? Nope, the lawsuit's still going. It is taking a ridiculously long time. But yeah, okay, so what I was saying is, when you have a new suggestion, this is the site to go to. Go to warlight.uservoice.com or go to the Warzone wiki and search for feedback. You can get there here too. This is the right way to suggest new features. Now that the ladder bead has been moved to multiplayer tabs, you have fixed the scroll range of the community tab as seen alone. Yes, that I have fixed that in the code already. There just hasn't been an update since I fixed it. So yes, that will be fixed. Thanks for letting me know. Sorry about that. Do you watch Eurovision? Nope, never heard of it. It's even worse in mobile. There are quite a few suggestions that your voice should be marked as completed or declined, because a lot of people have votes and issues they would like to get back. If you know of any that should be marked as completed, please send them to me. I will do that. I don't know what you mean when you say they should be marked as declined. If you have something that you think it should be marked as declined, you can send it to me and I'll consider it, but I don't know exactly what's making you come to that conclusion. Fair enough for the full device. I use the latest Samsung. I assume the most popular one. It's not too bad. Cosmically, it gives you the idea to restart the game. It's not the end of the world as it saves progress, but looking at Google apps like YouTube, key transitions, boot that and restart. Those full devices do look pretty cool. I like the idea of having a folding phone, but they're so expensive. I don't think I could ever afford them. Like the high-end ones are like $1,800. I was actually just looking at this. Like Google's coming out with one now, and then Samsung I know has a really popular one. I think they have some cheaper ones. I think the smaller, like the flip phones are cheaper, but then the ones that fold out into like a tablet are $1,800. It's crazy. Banking boot time should apply to 2 turns onward in real-time games. Often sit through 5 minutes extra boot on turn 1. Only 5 the player is not there, and then we all vote to end. Yeah, that is one of the disadvantages of having lots of banking boot times, is if somebody joins a game and never plays, then it's basically you have to sit through the entire bank time. How are you feeling about the community backlash regarding the ladder settings and extending the boot time on ladders to team? Yeah, we'll get into that. Let's talk about the ladder refresh. So, new rating system. It uses true skill instead of Bayesian ELO for the 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3 ladders. This is a big improvement because it means that, for one thing, you can get your rating right away when a game ends. It will actually pop up right when the game ends, and it will tell you what your rating changed by. It'll be like, your rating increased by 5 or whatever. Whereas before you had to like wait hours to see what it was, and it would happen, many hours after a game ends, and you'd have to go to the page and look to see. And unless you checked it after religiously all the time, you wouldn't know how much each game affected your rating. In this system, you can even go back to a game after it finishes and click the summary button. Do I have one? Ladder. Yeah, you can even go back to a game after it ends, click the game summary button, and you can see, in this particular game, my ladder rating improved by 9.1 and it went to 101.3. And this is stored forever, so you can come back to games even in the future and see how they affected your rating and what you were at that point in time. The old ladder had a concept of expired. Games would expire and then your rating would change later. That doesn't happen anymore, so your rating is a much more permanent thing. Even if you leave the ladder for years, you will still have your rating. It's kind of like something you'd almost identify yourself with a little bit more. Why would someone want a folding phone that's just more prone to breaking? Yeah, if it breaks, that would suck. But from what I hear, they've gotten pretty reliable. We really went from flip phones to smartphones back to flip phones. It's true, but the new ones have a fold in the screen, which is a much more complicated thing. You do get quite a lot of screen. I'm literally watching this guy on a fold. It's favorite of the screen. Flip phones are cool. You can pretend to be Captain Turk. Would user voice for idle be... Would user voice be for idle as well as classic? Yes, it is for both games. I'm really glad you dropped the exploration of that games. Thanks. I'm glad you like it. Exploration games previously served as official approved instrument to allow play the ladder with a new alt account. Is using new alt account something with the ladder totally unavailable? That's a good question. We need to explore that as a community. I think the answer will be that as long as you're not ever joined to the ladder at the same time with 2 accounts, it's okay. I think that's going to be the answer. But we should talk that through and make sure. I would actually like to hear the community's feedback on that. User Voice Classics, basically anything can't be done using the mods. Yeah. Okay. So, new rating system. I think we talked about the rating system. Rewards. Ladders have rewards. So, if you go to any ladder, you click this rewards button, you can see rewards. So, there's 2 ways to get rewards. One way is to achieve a certain rating. Like if you get to 150 rating on the 1v1, 2v2, or 3v3 ladder, then you get some rewards and you get another reward. This is only for the first time you get to that rating. So if you drop down below and then you come back in, you won't get the reward again. So this is just these are kind of like, I view these as almost like the participation rewards. These are the rewards you get that most people should be able to get if you join the ladder. Most people should be able to make it to like silver, I think, unless you're really bad. But maybe that's not true. I don't know. I should wait to say that until we see how the rating system works. That's the intention anyway. And there are more leagues above gold, so I only show bronze, silver, and gold here, but there's more, but they're secret. So nobody knows what they are. You'll find them out once as ratings go up. And the other way to get rewards is based on your rank. These are kind of like the ultra primo rewards, where you get these every week. So they come on every Sunday. You get them as long as you were in the ladder for an entire week. So you can't just leave the ladder and rejoin on Saturday, get the reward, and then leave on Monday. It doesn't work that way. You have to be in the ladder for the entire time. That's important because, like, if you have the highest rating and you're in first, you have to defend it. You have to actually be in the ladder so that people can challenge you for it. And this is a much better than the old system. The old system like promoted doing runs. Like people would leave the ladder, wait till all their games expire, and then rejoin the ladder, and then play 20 games, which is the minimum you needed to get a rank, and then hope they did really good. And then they'd leave the ladder and then wait for all their games to expire. And it just wasn't a healthy system. The ladder is supposed to be something that you join and just stay in and get rewards for playing. So the new system is designed around giving you rewards for just joining the ladder and staying in it. That should be the ideal way of playing. And then the only exception to that is the seasonal ladder, which works on 60-day seasons. This one gives rewards when the season ends. And this text is wrong. On the season, that text is correct for the other 3 ladders, but on the seasonal ladder, I'm going to make a note of this. Seasonal ladder rewards page has wrong text. So what this should say is these rewards are given out when the season ends based on your rank. Because for the seasonal ladder, that's all it is. You just got to be the highest rank when it ends. The seasonal ladder still use the Bayesian ELO system that it always has, because people who are much smarter at me in rating systems have told me that it is the correct one to use for the seasonal ladder. So you can see if you win it, you get 2,000 coins, and you get like a unique color called elephants. You get legendary artifacts and 3 of every idle power. These are like the biggest rewards. Since games are not depending on each other anymore, I think it's fine as long as you only have one account once. Yes. Because having 2 accounts at once will never be allowed because you could get matched against yourself, and that would violate the integrity of the ladder. Or maybe a rule should be that all games must be finished before switching? Possibly. I think that is possible, yeah. Maybe. We need to make a decision on that. It is similar to quick match. We don't punish people playing multiple accounts, so maybe people will think different ladders. Can you take my kids so they don't bug me and make me get booted in real-time games? Sure. Drop them off. Real life is a problem everyone has to deal with. Why can't you do any more games less than 3 in the 1 versus 1 ladder? Yeah, so that was another change that is a secret change. I didn't announce that in the blog, but the 1v1 ladder now requires 3 games at a time. And that's kind of there just to make sure people don't stall and try to get a high rank and then play as few games as possible to try to stall the games to try to maintain it. May I please have an option to show off previous ratings? There were ratings records for a lot of people. It's confusing. A lot of people at first rank but same max rating. You should still have that. If you go to your page, let me go to season Let's go to, sure, I'll just go to a random person. There are rating histories here. Wow, Octane's been in the ladder since 2016. Nice. Wow, it's impressive ranks. So yeah, your rating history is here. It shows a big dip because this is, of course, the ladder reset. And it also shows you your best rating ever, which should still be here. Although I guess these got reset, huh? Because obviously his best rating is higher than that. This was not intentional. I didn't intend to reset the best rating. I can fix that. Yeah, I'll make a note of that. This should be your actual best rating because historical ratings still count. So like Octane's best rating was like, you know, something like 1830 or 1841, something like that. I want to see what the elephant's color looks like. I'll know when everyone sees them. With that attitude, of course you won't win. Bottom ladder reward tabs. If your rank is higher than the rewards. If your rating is lower than the rewards listed. Since higher usually means towards first. Possibly. Let me read it. If your rank is higher, I mean, rank is a number, right? Like rank 100th. So higher than 100. Lower than 100 seems weird because the numbers go up. I don't know. It seems right to me this way, but maybe I'm the weird one. Rating history is broken on profiles. It shows 100 for everything. What? It does? Let's see. Let's go to Octane again. He's currently rated 201. If I go to his profile, ladders, it says first 201. Doesn't look broken to me. Maybe best rating old ladder, best rating new ladder. You could, but I've tried to align the rating numbers so they should line up in time. Of course, they don't right now because we just did a reset. But I think once sufficient time passes, they should roughly line up with the old ones. So I don't think that's necessary. A new update? No, we don't do updates around here. It's sacrilege. Higher rank usually means better placement, reading towards the top spot. Maybe. Higher rank is going towards first. Maybe I should just say worse rank. Worse rank? Higher rank. That way it's unambiguous. Worse and better instead of higher and lower. Okay, so where were we? So we talked about the rewards. Leagues, we talked a little bit about leagues already. There are higher leagues than gold that are just secret. App integration. So all the UI is now available in the app, the iOS and Android app, as well as the standalone client. Whereas before, the only way to join the ladders or see the standings was to go, or the only way to join the ladders, let me be clear, was to go to the website and click it here, which you could do from your phone, but it wasn't as usable, which is important because most people that play Warzone play from the app. And that ratio is only growing, as in the website is shrinking and the mobile apps is growing in popularity. So this is actually the last major feature that was still never in the app. Over the years, ever since the app launched back in, what was it, like 2011, 2012, something like that, I've been trying to get every feature that exists in the game into the app, but it's taken a long time. But now we can finally say all the major features. There are some minor features that still aren't in the app, like the ability to view everyone on your block list. This is not in the app, but maybe those will eventually come. The major features are all there. How are you feeling about the community with Clash regarding ladder settings? Any plans expanding the boot time on ladders to clean games so it's possible ladders at a high level of play? Yeah, so let's talk about boot times. So the boot times of the ladder used to just be a flat 3 days, which this was designed back in 2011 when we didn't even have a mobile app yet. Team ladders. Okay, we skipped over team ladders. Let's talk about booting. And I'll come back to team ladders after that. So back in 2011, we didn't even have a mobile app. Like, people were tied to their computers, and it was very common for you to like have to leave your computer for a couple days and then come back to it. These days, no matter where you are on the internet is basically everywhere. I mean, no matter where you are in the world, internet's basically everywhere. You should be able to take your turn most days. In my experience, there's 2 reasons why people want longer boot times. Like, some people have asked for the 3-day boot time to come back. Oh, let me complete my thought. So now the ladders use a 1-day base boot, but give 3 days of they give 2 days of bank time. This is wrong. This has 1 additional day of bank time, but it was increased. So now they have 1 day of normal boots and then 2 additional days of bank time. The bank time, of course, eats in once you've not gone for 24 hours. And then once you run out of that, then you're down to just 24 hours for your boot time. And the reasoning behind this is that you should, if you're joining the ladders, you should be able to play most days. There's 2 reasons in my experience people want a 3-day boot time, as in 3 days all the time. One reason is because they're extremely busy. And in my opinion, if you can't spare 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week, then you're too busy to join the ladder. Like, you don't need to play every single day. That's why the bank time is there. You can miss a day occasionally, but most days you should be able to spare 10 minutes to take your turn. Like, I don't think that's too much of an ask. If you're so busy you don't even have 10 minutes a day most days, then you're probably too busy for the ladder. The other reason that sometimes people ask for a 3-day boot time is because they're chronic procrastinators, and I know these kind of people. I used to play with this guy in the early days of Warlight, and he would always take his turn on like the last hour, like religiously, no matter how long the boot time was. And honestly, it's just not fun to play against those people. If a game is only advancing once every 3 days, it's just not fun. Like, you want the game to be in your memory when the next turn happens. It's just fundamentally not fun to play against somebody that only takes their turn every 3 days. We call that stalling, honestly. I don't think it's a good experience, and it's especially important in the seasonal ladder, which I haven't gotten to yet, but the seasonal ladder is now on a 60-day season instead of a 75-day season. So it's important that all the games get finished during the season. That's my thoughts on it. Let me go back and read all the chat. Drag that cable around the ship. There's even is satellite internet available now. But if you're going to be gone, like if you're going on a long trip somewhere where you don't have internet, then just leave the ladder. Like, leave the ladder for that trip. Like, the ladder is the highest level of play. You shouldn't have to. You should not expect it to cater to all lifestyles. My 2v2 ladder's teammate is the exact opposite of mine. 12 hours difference. A back and forth method exchange takes a full day. Yeah, then that's why there's tons of extra bank time in team games. So there's a 1-day base boot, but then there's 5 days of bank time in the team games. And if that's not enough, then maybe you need a new teammate, someone who's more responsive. Who cares why people want additional boot time? The more community plays the ladder has expressed the need more time. I don't know if that's true. So for one thing, I saw the ladder thread, and I did read almost everything that was posted on the ladder about this. And a lot of these people that posted in the thing, like, there was the main thread. Where was it? It basically, the subject line was like 1-day boot ladder update. And then I feel like a lot of the people that replied here don't even realize there was bank time. Like, you don't have to play every day. You can miss a day from time to time. Like, most of these people are talking as if you have to play every day, which is not true. And if I take my turn at 9 a.m. today, 9:15 a.m. tomorrow, it could be too late already. No, that's not true. That's why you have bank time. Also, it's a 25-hour boot time, not a 24. So even in this scenario, you wouldn't use any bank time. But yeah, see, like, this person obviously doesn't understand there's bank time, because it's the exact reason for situations like that. That's why the bank time is there. Majority of players don't want more boot time. Short boots can be manageable for 1v1, but if I'm in the US playing a team game with a guy in Germany, it's hard to discuss and coordinate in 24 hours. You should be able to most of the time, and then if you don't, that's why you have tons of bank time. almost everybody wants 3 days. I don't know if that's true. We can take a poll. So obviously you run into this scenario where people that want a change are more likely to express their opinion than people that don't care. The only way to actually answer this question of almost to say like the only way to substantiate that almost everybody wants 3 days is to take a poll, which we can do because another secret update in this update is I now have the ability to do polls where I can like push out a question to people and it'll appear as a little flashing mail icon on the top right. You click on it and then you can vote in the poll. So we can do that. It could say something like if your rank is below top 100, you get free pass car instead. Yeah. Time zones don't exist. Fizzer is a computer nerd. He thinks in UTC. That's right. Majority of people playing the ladder. That's what I said. We still don't know that's true either. Dozens is a lot of people. Most of the player base is made up of dozens. Non-desktop users will now play ladder. Yes. So the ladder is going to be made up of different people in like the coming months, years. Because most people didn't even have access to the ladders before this update. Because it wasn't in the app and most people only play from the app. Stalling is not taking your turn within the time limit. Stalling is usually when people wait until the boot time is about to end and then take their turn at the last possible second. Which is really bad in my opinion. Shouldn't do that. Shouldn't do it on purpose. If you need the time, that's fine. But doing it on purpose, it's just annoying. Just leave the ladder if you're unable to play, but you also say you want the ladder to be healthier and people are encouraged to stay on it continuously. Yeah, I think, honestly, more people would prefer shorter boot times because playing against somebody that takes 3 days for every turn is just not fun. Problem with leaving the ladder for your trip is that you need to leave your trip, but weeks in advance to count for games to actually finish it. Yeah, you should leave weeks in advance. Like, that's what you should do. It seems reasonable to me. For team games, consistent communication takes 2 to 3 days per turn. That hasn't been my experience. What about teammates living in a completely different time zones? 1 day is not much to coordinate with 9 and more hours difference. So most people are awake for 16 hours a day. So usually there's a pretty big overlap no matter when. You're going to have at least 8 hours overlap in the absolute worst case. And you can find a time during those 8 hours where you both have free time every day and you can meet up during that time and coordinate. That does not seem unreasonable. If people are so busy that they have no overlap, then you should probably find teammates that have overlap. The ladder can try to accommodate most people's schedules, but it's impossible to accommodate everybody's schedule. Bank time is gone after 1 or 2 turns, though. Hopefully not. If you're playing every day, it should last the whole game. If you're playing every day most of the time, it should last most of the game. Everyone's asking about ladder boots, but nobody's talking about clan chat glitch messages. I was not aware of any clan chat glitch. You should report that. You do have to play every day once bank time is run out. Yeah, that's by design because it means you've been playing too slow. Bank time disappears. Bank time disappears if you're playing too slow. You got to play faster. If you can't play the game, you can't play the game. Seems basic. I had a guy in a 300 FA mega game that I host got pissed when he got booted because he thought the game had vacations turned on. Why let one person hold up 299 others? Exactly. Honestly, I think the vacations feature is kind of obsolete. Like, vacation was added back when we didn't have a mobile app yet. And if you were leaving your house, it was impossible to take your turn. Maybe not impossible, but extremely difficult. It's not really relevant anymore, I don't think. Most of the people I feel that use vacations don't use it because they're not able to access the game. They use vacations just because, like, they want to stall. Like they are capable of getting a device every day and playing their turns, but they just don't want to. At a high level, especially team games, people at a high level can take hours on picks alone and communicating, changing orders, communicating, and so on. If you want high level play, you have to give 3 days because spare 10 minutes at 3 a.m., but the quality of play will be ass. I don't think that's true. I think you can make a decision in less time than that. I think most people can. If it takes you really that long, then there are avenues for you. You can play in the clan league or something. I think it's fair for everyone. Everyone has the same amount of time to come up with their orders, and I think it's reasonable to ask people to come up with orders, once a day. I don't think that's too unreasonable. We simply ignore bank times in forums because it's a one-time thing. Games can take as long as a week. Right, but if it's advancing every day, that's only 7 turns. 7 turns, you take your bank time, divide it by 7 turns, you have a lot of time. Especially in team games, which have, 5 days of bank time for a game that takes a week? That's extremely generous. You cannot take most of the time since they are asleep. And remember, if it's advancing most days, then you have a lot more than 5 days to finish the game. You cannot most of the time because they are asleep. I mean, people only sleep for 8 hours a day. That means you have 16 hours of common awake time in the absolute worst case. Most cases, you have more than that. Please take a poll. Sure, we can take a poll. Warzone-wide poll. I'd launch a poll for people who are in the ladders. How come Warzone doesn't have music on the Warlay anymore? I know it was another game, but I thought it was iconic. Yeah, it doesn't have music on the website. If you play on the mobile app, it does have music, but it's off by default. You have to go into the settings to turn it on. And I wrestled with the decision to default the music on or off in the app for a long time, and I eventually decided it should default off. I actually did an A/B test where I put out I randomized whether it would default on or off, and I looked at retention. And retention was slightly higher for people who had it off, but honestly, it was probably within the margin of error. So I don't think it was too relevant, but I did decide I prefer it to default off. It's just what I think. Captain. Clip the Twitch section where you said he'd make a poll. Yeah, clip it. Clip it. Give me a haircut. Clip it. If Fizzer made an audiobook, I'd listen to it. Cool. You can listen to my streams on loop. Also check the ladder on the toilet. Sure. I'm not sure a poll would be unbiased. People who have stronger opinions are more likely to answer polls. I think most people are neutral about this change. I mean, the poll would kind of flash in the top right corner, so it's hard to ignore. And I'll have an I don't care button so that I'll capture the people who don't care can just click I don't care. The people who care can click one of the options that shows they care. So I think a poll is the best way to capture opinions. I don't think there's a better way of capturing opinions than a poll. You're not online 16 hours a day. A lot of people work 8 hours a day. Sure. A lot of people work more than 8 hours a day. A lot of people play this game from work too. In fact, the highest volume time of traffic is 1 p.m. on a weekday. That's when it spikes. You could always play ladder games from the app. You just couldn't leave the ladders from the app. Oh, and so what I'm trying to say with that is a lot of people play from work. If you have somebody who literally has no time in common with you at all, you're both so busy that you work tons of hours every day and you have really small amounts of free time that don't line up with the other people's free time, and you should find a different partner. That doesn't seem like a very healthy ladder team, in my opinion. Find people that are actually in your time zone or close to you in your country. You could always play ladder games from the app. You just couldn't join the leave ladders from the app. Yes, that is correct. But if you only use the app, you would never even know you could join the ladders. It was never even on your radar. Plus 2 hours getting stuck in traffic, plus 2 hours for eating. You can play Warzone while eating. Grab your phone. What do you guys do while you're eating? You're not on your phone? Who's not on their phone while eating? Raise your hand. Polls sound awesome, and how is it going to differentiate between mains and alts? Yeah, we'll just have to, we can do that. We'll just make it against the rules to vote, both with your main and your alt, and then if you do it, then you get banned. So most people should know. I wake up at 5:30 a.m. and go straight to work, get home at 6 p.m. Go to bed by 10 p.m. During those 4 hours, America's working, so I cannot communicate with teammates in one day. Yeah, I mean, depending on when the turn advances, that also could not be a problem, right? If the turn advances while you're awake, then you can leave your messages and they can respond. Vacation was never used before, already didn't work. Due to games not respecting it, automatically when you commit. Yeah. I mean, some people use it. I do know some people use it. I hear stories of people using it. What if they don't have Wi-Fi 4G connection during the time of vacations? Then you shouldn't be on the ladder. In 7 years, I vacation once. Yeah, I think I've used it 0 times. Vacation features should be redesigned for members only. I think it should just be removed, to be honest. Part of this, because it just messes up games. And if people disable, game creators can choose not to honor it, but then if they do that, then it just makes the vacation feature useless. Part of the skill of taking turns is the time you have. Yes, that is true. Keep in mind when you go to another country, internet is usually so high you can't really afford to play Warzone at all. Do something you can't even. I mean, Warzone uses extremely small amount of bandwidth, especially if you cache maps. If you turn on cache mapping, which is a setting in your iOS and Android app, then the only thing it has to communicate is the data, which is extremely small. We're talking like a few kilobytes. Unless you're in like a monster game, but for like a ladder game, it's extremely small. Use vacation mode when I'm on a cruise with the family, even on ship Wi-Fi, there are limits of what is downloadable. Sure, that's fair. And good news is cruise ship internets are getting much better because we have good satellite internet now, which we didn't have. Cruise ships just this year are starting to upgrade to like the new Starlink satellite internet, which is a lot better. But regardless, yeah, that's a good place where if you are unable to play the ladder on your vacation, then you should leave the ladder. Life happens. JK hit there with her bus and was incoming, got booted. Should Warzone have a coma sensor in the app? JK3? Sure. If you get booted, this is another change in the ladder that I need to mention. This is relevant to where we are. If any player is booted from a ladder, they'll be immediately removed from that ladder so they don't get more games. This is especially important for team ladders where a boot can hurt your team. So yeah, if somebody gets hit by a bus, then they're going to end up getting booted. They will be automatically removed from the ladders. You contradict yourself. You say you want the ladders to be a high-level play, but when pointed out the high-level play is seriously hurt, or everyone plays by the same rule, where it is that you can't have both. I think you can have a high level of play in a small amount of time. Look at the NFL and American football. Like, they have snap seconds to make. They have to make snap decisions is what I'm trying to say. Many times you have to decide if you're going to throw the challenge flag or take a timeout, what you're going to do. You have seconds to make those decisions. And you still compete at a high level of play. Like, people are very good making these decisions. They get paid millions of dollars for doing it. I cannot take my turns while teaching my children in school. They're not 16 hours of overlap time. Yeah, then you should play during your free time. Like, music exists in the app. Launch a poll for people in ladders misses the point because everyone that can't play due to one-day boot isn't in the ladder. Sure. Well, now you know the poll is coming. So, okay, I could include the poll for anyone that's been in the ladder recently. If you want to be in the poll, join the ladder and leave right now. And then I'll include it for everyone that's been in the poll recently, as well as everyone everyone that's been in the ladder recently or is currently in the ladder. I prefer to listen to my own electron because we're playing games. Yeah, I think a lot of people do. Music in this broadcast is pretty good. Thanks. This is a playlist called Antis Instrumentals. People need to come up with so many edge cases regarding boot time can't please everyone. Exactly. Every top player I've spoken to is against these boot settings. Well, the poll will tell you. The poll should only go out to people playing the ladder then, because of course people who don't play competitively care that skew the results and make the poll useless. 1 p.m. in which time zone? 1 p.m. in my time zone, which is Pacific coasts of the United States. Guys, generally the reality of boot times helps protect this game product. Video games are all about accessibility, and making my friends inaccessible because of low boot times is unhealthy. You should not form teams with people outside your country. Sounds a little xenophobic. Well, you can form teams with people as long as your schedule is compatible with them. If you are extremely busy and they are extremely busy and you can't find a time to get together and talk about your terms, it sounds like it's not a good team. Wow, I'm pretty far behind on chat. You can play while eating. You don't have family to talk to while having dinner? I don't have family. He said that the boot timers are. He said the new boot timers are fair since they're the same for all teams. Don't you think they give a big advantage to alt-account teams since they don't need to coordinate their moves? Alt-account teams are not allowed in the ladder. I think alt-account teams are not allowed. We had this discussion earlier. You can't be joined to the same ladder with alts. Although I don't know. Has that always been a rule? I actually can't remember. For a team ladder, are you allowed to join with an alt? I'm not sure. And should it be disallowed future going forward? I kind of feel like that should be disallowed if it wasn't already. Kind of defeats the point of having a team ladder. But no, I don't think it's a big advantage because you just got to team with someone that you actually talk to regularly. I used to do 8 hours for weekdays and then shift was changed to 12 hours. 4 days on, 4 days off. 12-hour shifts, I didn't have free time. Wow, that's a rough schedule. So I join ladders in the hope the turn advances only while I'm awake. Sounds like a good system. Please don't remove vacation mode. I think you're underestimating how much time and energy people think about their orders in the top level play. It's not realistic for people to do that when playing team games. I think it's realistic. That's just my opinion. Cruise ships have internet but still have bad plumbing. I don't mind waiting on someone on vacation versus them booting. Yeah, but your opponents might not mind. Your opponents, I mean, not everyone will be as generous as you. You're ignoring the fact that people don't play, we have the same ability to play on weekdays versus weekends. So that's why there's 2 days bank time. You can take weekends off. NFL is not a multi-day game. It's true. But if they can make a decision in 2 seconds, you should be able to make a decision in 24 hours. If you want a high-level ladder and a real-time ladder back-end, real-time ladder snaps to play multi-day. Ladders are not equal to all of Warzone. Thoughts on chess? Chess is a complicated... it's thoughts on chess. Chess is a fun game, but it's almost like too many options. The look ahead is the big problem with chess. You have to look so far ahead. I have a hard time keeping it all in my mind, so I don't usually play chess regularly. And the part of chess I don't like is when you have to start studying moves and you have to memorize all the openings and stuff. It should be something where you can kind of... I prefer games where you can kind of intuitively grasp the situation. You don't need to memorize situations. Can it recently, including before the new boot settings for the poll? Yeah, that's fine. I think bullet chess is a better analogy if you random mad. Middle is fast, medium quality. I don't know bullet chess. 1 p.m. in the US is evening in Europe. Yeah, that's true. But most people that play Warzone are in the US. The new medium Earth is fancy, but it lacks utilities. It's effectively smaller because of the border. The bonus colors are less distinguishable. Are you open to someone coming up with a new version of the map? Sure, if somebody wants to make a new version, I would consider it. There wasn't a rule alt allowed in the same team. Okay, we can decide as a community if we want that to be a rule or not. Just yourself versus other teams who aren't doesn't give an advantage of the team. You can take weekends off. You can take a weekend off. Yeah, sure. Did the level requirements unlock certain ladder change? No, they did not. The unlock rules have not changed. Will 400 player games ever be available in single player, such as when making a custom single player game? Possibly. I'm not sure how that would work. I don't want to just open the floodgates and make it free, but at the same time, charging for a single-player game just seems wrong to me. So I'm not sure how to handle that. But yeah, feel free to throw it up on user voice. It's certainly possible. The bank time doesn't regenerate, though, if the game lasts longer than 1 week, i.e. more than 7 turns, which is common. You won't have any bank time for the second weekend. Yeah. Well, you're right. Yeah. Depending on when exactly the turn advances, it's possible you could only take 1 weekend off. Chess has a blitz mode in a 1v1 ladder, at least. In a team ladder, you don't need to. You have plenty of bank time there. You can take all the weekends off as long as you're playing every day during the week. Chess as a blitz mode is different than regular mode, which also displays cheaters and stallers. Yeah, I totally understand that for chess because chess is so you can so easily cheat just by using like an AI, inputting your situation and getting an answer out. Warzone, you can't really do that. You only have to look a long time ahead if you're good. Yes, not the same level as chess. Yes, chess.com is upgrading its cheat detector and always get a win versus them. Interesting. Warzone is chess as chess is to tic-tac-toe? Not sure what that means. Bullet chess is 1-2 minutes for the whole game. Wow, that's fast. Should we ever have Warzone games that fast? That would be interesting. Why is this stream of Eurovision Song Festival? Why is this stream of the Eurovision Song Festival is broadcasting live? Sorry. That was just my plan. I needed to deprive you of it. That was my... I totally know what that is. I play a lot of Warzone. Thanks for making it. You're welcome. Glad you enjoy it. The new ladder rating system reveals the mean and deviation for the true skill in the new UI. The Clan Wars UI uses true skill too, but chooses only a single number. Why do you show the two numbers? The ladders of the Clan Wars will be revamped. Yeah, I could show the two numbers for the Clan Wars UI if people are really interested in it. I actually debated whether it was a good idea to show or not, and I decided sure. The nerds can see it. I don't have anything against showing it. It's just kind of unnecessary, I think. All boot times would be used up on picks in a high team game with people in different time zones. In turn 2, you would boot if you wanted to talk to your teammate and hear a response. Then talk faster. I mean, in single player, I mean you versus 300 AIs. Yeah, I understand. I would find it interesting to have the bots playing in the ladder long term. What do you think about that? I'm not sure. First off, the bots we have now would just get destroyed, I believe. But maybe. It'd be interesting to see how a bot would do, but I don't know if they'd be good enough to actually compete. What do you think about... And I don't know if everybody would want to be matched against an AI. Kind of seems unfair if one person gets a human opponent and the other person gets a bot. But I guess it's all about rating, right? You're going to be matched with people close to your rating. What do you think about cooperative games in Quick Match for new players to get to meet the community, for experience to teach newbies and making a game where all players win? Yeah, I've always wanted to do more with cooperative games. I don't know if Quick Match is the right vehicle for it, but maybe. I don't know, potentially. Okay, moving on. Can you go back to talk about individual rankings for team games, then you join a game? Higher ranked teammates. Are you ever able to actually pass them? And if you join a game with a higher ranked rated teammate, are you ever able to actually pass them? I believe the answer would be no. That comes down to the implementation details of True Skill, which I'm not 100%, I didn't write True Skill, so I don't think so. But I don't think you could. I don't think you'll ever be able to pass them if you join with a higher rated teammate, because you're going to get all the same games as them. Also, can you exploit matchups by joining with a low rated teammate? I think it matches based on the highest rated teammate in the team. I believe that's what it is. I'd have to double check to be sure. So that would not help you get easier opponents. Am I missing Eurovision? Who would win a fight between Fizzer and Absolute Ethan? I don't know. You mean a Warzone game? I think I'd win. AVP poster, whoever wins. Not familiar with it. Are there bugs involving boots and ratings? If someone boots turn 1, they will have a higher rating because their teammates who surrender later because they played more turns. No, each game only looks at the win or loss outcome. That is the only thing that matters. See you later, Ethan. Would it be best to create alts and join with empty ratings to keep everyone even? It would be best to create alts and join with empty ratings to keep everyone even. So everyone can get first rank together. Yeah, the only way you'll get a first rank together is if your ratings are identical, which in practice, I think the only way that will happen is if you join as a team and you stay teamed basically forever. Stop trying to find and exploit loopholes. Do you think the new boot settings will increase stalling since waiting for an opponent to boot will not be a viable strategy? No, I think they'll decrease stalling because you have less total time. It depends on your definition of stalling, I guess, but it will increase the speed of games. Let's put it that way. A long time ago, I saw something about Activision suing Warzone for the name. Has it resolved itself? Not yet. The lawsuit is still going, and a lot is going on in the lawsuit. But unfortunately, I can't really talk about it, so I can't say much. But other than that, it is still ongoing. Lawsuits take a long time. It's been years. Boot rates and boot count should be unaffected in practice games. Time management is also a form of practice. Players should be punished for it. Like, eventually, you have to dump your partner, which is kind of sad. I mean, if you can find a way to make it work. I mean, if you're both committed to the team, just schedule a time each day when you can make it work. I think most of the time you'll be able to find a time each day to get together and talk. And I think that's a reasonable thing to ask. Okay, so team ladders. We talked a little bit about team ladders already. But one of the big changes, so team ladders, of course, are the 2v2 and 3v3 ladder. One of the big changes is in the old system, your team would get a rating, and now individuals have ratings, which we talked a little bit about chat a few minutes ago, but I will officially introduce it now, which is you can join the ladder without a team. So if you go to ladders, 2v2 ladder, join ladder, you have a choice, join by myself or join with team. You have these two buttons. If you click join with team, it works just like it did before, where you will invite your friends, and then your friends have to accept the invite, and then you all join together. Or you can click join by myself, in which case you'll just be matched with other people based on your ratings. So you'll get a teammate. And this is something really just to make the ladders more accessible. Not everyone has people that they know they want to join with. Some people are just like, well, I just want to join. I don't really want to go through the work of finding a team. Now they have that option. Now the ladder does try really hard to match people who join by themselves with other people who join by themselves. I mean, like opponents. So if you join with a team, you will probably get matched against another team that joined with a team. And if you join by yourself, everybody in the game should also be people that joined by themselves. It is possible for somebody that joined with a team to get matched with a team of individual joiners, but that should be rare. I have encountered players who play until elimination hoping for a boot already. I think it is highly likely this strategy will increase with a one-day boot. I think this strategy is specifically to make that situation better, because before they could play to elimination hoping for a boot. Well, I guess what I'm trying to say is it will make it faster, because people before could just take 3 days for every turn, which would be ridiculous. Now, if they try that strategy, they're going to quickly use out their bank time, and then they'll have to play every day. Which, as long as you're playing every day, you don't have to worry about, because you will have more bank time than them. Basically, if you're a newbie, you have zero hope of ever getting first in the ladder. Well, yeah, I mean, the ladders are competitive arenas. If you're brand new to the game, you're going to have to practice up first, since if you join with anyone rated, you will never be above them. Well, that's if you join with a team with them, as in you're teamed with somebody ahead of you, the same person. If you want to get ahead of them, you could join with them, and then once you rise up the ladder a whole bunch, you could leave and join with somebody else. Or join by yourself. There's lots of options. This is the first time I ever hold my committee in the season launch, so the day timer is almost over. Usually I never delay committing. Why is this the first time? I had a Warzone account that's been deprecated. I log out, but doesn't let me back in anymore. Yeah, okay, let's talk about that. So there was another thing in this update, which is signing in with Facebook and Apple is no longer possible. This is something I didn't quite realize how many people were still doing that. Many months ago, I made it like a deprecated feature. I put a big notice whenever you sign in saying, if you sign in with Facebook or Apple, this is going to be removed soon, so you should put a password on your account. But I guess a lot of people still did. I think a lot of people just had been signed into their account for so long that they didn't know. So if you lost access to your account, come to this forum post. I'll put a link in the chat. And there's instructions here on how to reset it. And if you can't get it, you just email me, and I'll help you get back into your account. If you want to sorry about that. But yeah, Facebook kicked us off. If you don't know the history, there's a blog post about it. But basically, Facebook kicked us out and broke login with Facebook. It was really annoying. I wish they didn't break it, but yeah, once you get back in your account, it'll never be broken again because you'll just sign in with a password. Like if you want to get to number 1, then you have to dump your higher rated teammate. Sure. Very daunting for new players since everyone wants to be first on the ladder. I mean, that's true of everybody that plays on the ladder. Everybody wants to be first, and only one person's going to be first. And there's hundreds of people on the ladder. So obviously it's not going to happen for everybody. You can't schedule each day to make turns, as there are a ton of jobs that can change when you work just like that. Take an example where my boss literally called me on vacation to come in the next day. That's fine. That's why you have bank time. You can skip 2 days a week. You can skip 2 days per game. If that's happening to you so often, then you need to find a way to take your turn, like in the morning when you wake up or something like that. Like now, imagine his during normal week schedules change suddenly, or people get ill. That's why you have 2 days of bank time. Exactly for those kind of reasons. I need to step away. I really like this game and appreciate all you do for the game and players. Great. I'm glad you enjoy it. Thanks for stopping by. He knew he was going to call you before he went on vacation. What if my teammate leaves the ladder suddenly? Do I get removed from the ladder, or will the game go solo? You will just not get any... Yeah, you will be removed from the ladder. If you join with a team and your teammate leaves the ladder, then you will also be removed from the ladder, and then you can rejoin. You can rejoin solo, or you can rejoin with another team, or with him again, teammate again. Before they'd be less likely to be successful in trying to get boot, though now they're more likely to succeed. Sure, but as long as you're playing every day, it shouldn't be a problem. For rewards, how do ties work? You'll both get the better reward. The pop-up said my rank was 201st, yet the section of the leaderboard showed my rank was 312. That might just be because time passed. Like, it was 201st when your game ended, and then it was 312th when you pulled it up. If there's a 10-way tie for 95th, I would pursue 101st through 105th. Who also tie for 95th, who get the reward for new. Yeah, everyone will get, like, if multiple people are rank 1, then they'll all get the reward. I don't want to, which is a new thing with this update as well. Before, it would just, like, pick a random person if ranks were tied. I don't think I actually mentioned that in the blog post. So that's another secret feature, is you can have tied ranks. I don't want to play with random teammates, I want to play with friends. You still have that option. Coin wheel should be a thing on browser. Yeah, unfortunately, the reason the coin wheel exists is it's a reward for watching ads, and ads on the browser don't really work well. Like, they don't pay out practically anything. So that's why it's not on browser, unfortunately. I want to have to delay commuting until the end of the boot timer to maximize my boot timer for the next day. Instead of taking turns whenever I can. That could be a strategy, but it's probably not a healthy one. Did you forget to change the date for the Mother's Day bundle that comes in the US and different than Europe? I might have screwed that up. I'm not sure. I did not change the date for it, but it might be the wrong date. I don't remember. Some of those bundles, I intentionally did them a little off because they were too close to another bundle and I was trying to space them out. So I'm like, I'll squeeze this one back a couple days. It's fine. I can't remember if that's what I did for the Mother's Day bundle, or if it was a mistake. It might have just been a mistake. Mother's Day is supposed to be the first Sunday. Oh, does it change every year? That also might be why it's screwed up, because I only looked it up for the current year and then scheduled it. Making Warzone a job and less accessible, I don't understand. Since you don't have to play the ladders, right? Since there are only gold trophies, do you think there could be silver and bronze trophies for ladders or other competitions? Possibly. Well, silver is kind of the color we use for achievements. And bronze looks too close to gold. But yeah, I mean, your idea is sound. We could have like different levels of trophies. I think that's a good idea. Not convinced about the 24-hour boot time. I hope you give the ladder community a chance to say something about the matter with the new poll feature. Yeah, we'll do a poll. But it is 24 hours with a bunch of bank time. Saying take your turn in the morning or don't play with friends doesn't make sense. I mean, a lot of the times when we're having this conversation, I don't know if you're talking about a team ladder or a 1v1 ladder. I'm delayed, so I don't have the context of when you sent your message, what I was talking about at that point in time. When I said that comment, I was doing that in the context of a 1v1 ladder. Problem is, when you're expecting people to treat Warzone like a job, you have to get up in the morning and take your turn. I don't think that's the case. I think you just need 10 minutes a day. I think that is a completely reasonable ask. Most jobs require more than 10 minutes a day. 10 minutes a day, 5 days a week is not a job. How about ads for Coin Wheel on standalone app? Yeah, standalone app also does not have good ads. iOS and Android are really the only platforms that have good ads, unfortunately, which doesn't make a lot of logical sense to me, but that's just the way it was last time I researched it, which admittedly was years ago. There might be good ads now, and I just don't know about them. There should be in-game place to take notes on each game, like a note tab on in-game chat. Yeah, that's a feature I've heard on and off over the years. I think it's already on user voice. You can go vote for it. Add your votes to it. If you want Classic to appeal to idle users, the boot time should be longer. Both games are designed to be played at your own pace. I mean, Ladders is the highest level of play. Come to Ladders when you're ready to play. You can't adapt to every single person's lifestyle. The Ladders is the one place that really shouldn't adapt to every single person's lifestyle. Quick Match arguably is a place that should adapt to more people's lifestyle because it's more casual. It's kind of like Quick Match is playing a pickup game of baseball in the park, whereas the Ladders are Major League Baseball. You're playing, somebody's not going to, Major League Baseball is not going to reschedule a game because one person can't make it. It just doesn't work that way. There's a use script for it on the app version. Purposely delaying move stalling other access permissions should be made forbidden without enforcement. Yes. Should be made forbidden without enforcement? You want it to be forbidden but not enforced? Generally, the way I think purposely delaying moves should be is just with lower boot times. If the boot time is low enough, then you can't delay. Workaround team games is normal instead of normal influence. Is there a way to check out the match replay of other users and watch the replay? If not, are there plans to implement something like this? Yeah, so you can watch the replay of any game. In fact, Warzone stores every game that's ever been played, every multiplayer game, all the way back to the very first ones. Like I can go back to page 596. Loading. Oh boy. What have I done? And here are games I played back in like 2008. Well, that one was just a boot, but 1 and 0 turns. Here we go. Here's a game I played in, oh my gosh, another boot? Oh, that wasn't even my game. Where's the game that actually played? Voted to end on 0 turns. What? Most games were not like this. I don't know why that's all the ones we got. Practice game. There we go. Here's a game that was played, not by me. I probably created the game, I guess. Why is this on? Yeah, I created it for 2 people in 2008. There we go. First year the game ever existed. So my point is, every game that's ever been played still exists in the database. You can go watch it. If you want to find other people's games, good way is to go to Clan Wars under the multiplayer section, and you can go to View Map, and you can click on these G buttons and you can see a list of games. You can also go to the Ladders, which is just now added in this update for the app. You can go to recent games and you can watch any of these games. If you're a member, there's also like this recent games tab where you can see all sorts of other types of games, but that's only member only. But there are lots of ways to find games. You can go to tournaments and find them. Depends on what type of games you're looking for. But yeah, there are tons of games. You can watch the replay of all of them. Multi-attack games is sometimes 10 minutes per turn. Great, 10 minutes per turn. That's a reasonable amount of time to take in a multi-day game. Perhaps Wheel could be offered without ads when you have membership. The Wheel gives out coins, so unfortunately that would end up being a problem because you can buy membership with coins. So you can just get this self-perpetuating machine where you get a membership and then you just spin the wheel for free and get coins and use that to buy more memberships. It doesn't really work in practice. The Wheel is all about rewarding you for watching ads. That's the main purpose of the Wheel. I spent an hour discussing picks with teammates in the past Clan League. I once spent an hour on a single turn in Seasonal that I won. You can play ladders at high level in just 10 minutes. Just you don't understand high level play. play faster. You will get better as you work at it. It's a skill like anything else. Win rate shouldn't be affected by games with ratings. And also, by the way, an hour on a single turn is completely reasonable. Like, you have 25 hours without even needing your bank time. And if you need more than that, then you have bank time. So saying that you once spent an hour on a single turn, like that's the longest, that's the worst case? Well, great, that's what your bank time is for. You have 48 hours of bank time on every game, and only once you spent an hour. You can do that 48 times per game, and you've only done it once. Win rate shouldn't be affected by games with ratings. Games with ratings make win rate close to 50%, which I guess makes it useless. I mean, if it's a ladder, you're really trying to compete for the number one spot. I mean, some people are. Some people are just going to play it for the participation rewards. But, when you're competing at a very high level, you're going to get matched up against the number one person. Then this statement kind of stops making sense. I think if you're the top team, let's say players who actually 1 and 2, and the players get different rewards, that's not unfair. Not sure why you're blowing over this. I think your perspective in the debate about turn time is this is what you need to do in order to not get booted, whereas the arguments from the community comes from individual perspective and wanting to play their best moves. Yeah, and that's fine. You can still do that. If it takes you so long to come up with your best moves, then maybe you should do it in the multi-day ladder or something like that. We need a super AI like AlphaZero who beat all players. We can learn from it. That would be really cool. I've never worked on a kind of AI like that. I mean, I've worked on the Warzone AI, which is very rudimentary, not like this AI. I would love to see how something like that works with Warzone. You conflate win rate by playing with alts, farming open games. Nobody cares about win rate as long as it is greater than 50%. Speaking of ladder games, why did you limit the game feed to last month only? You're talking about the API. Yeah, that's really just because it would get unwieldy. Because the API used to show every ladder game that has ever been played, going all the way back to 2011, 2012, whenever it was. And it just grows exponentially. If you need it, I can give you a dump of all the ladder IDs or the game IDs going all the way back there. And then you can call the API once every 30 days to add to your list. Preserving the integrity of the highest level of play means give people the chance to take out their turns and communicate effectively. I believe it is my opinion that they already have that with the current boot times. There are minimum 3 games at a time. Spending an hour on each one would add up. Sure, but you said you only did that once. You once spent an hour on a single turn. It's exception. It's the worst case, it sounds like, what you're presenting it as. Most of the time, it takes less. He said 1 hour because you expressed personally 10 minutes and spending 1 hour per game on 3 ladders, game 3 hours, it added up. Sure, but that's the worst case. And for that case, we have 48 hours of banked time per game. Other things on the ladders, when you click on recent games, view all, you can make it really completed games. Can you make it recent completed games? Yes, I agree. I think that is just a mistake. I didn't mean to do it that way. I will change that back in the next update. Thank you for letting me know. The struggle is Fizzer is not a high level player, doesn't understand what it is to play a high level ladder. Okay. Have you ever played chess? Yes, I've played chess. You can make a decent move in 5 seconds, or you can spend an hour to analyze and do a great move. Yes, I agree. Warzone is similar. If you want to make moves close to the best moves you can do, a turn will take you a long time. Yes, I agree. And everybody has the same amount of time in every game, so it is fair. Some people want to play games where they have 1 turn every 50 days. I know people that literally take 1 turn every 100 days because if auto boot is turned off, that's how long you have to go before the game will boot you. 100 days. I know people that will literally spend 100 days on every turn, and in my opinion, that's just not fun. And I'm sure his moves are great because he spent 100 days working on them, but I wouldn't want to play a game against him, right? There has to be a limit. And I set the limit on what I think is reasonable. Other people disagree on what they think the limit should be, but we all agree there has to be a limit. You can spend ridiculous amounts of time coming up with your turns. 5 splits in the API for spreadsheet made. Maybe add a page. He can contact me for it. Maybe add a page offset kind of thing for ladder API. Yeah, that's ideal. That would be the best solution. But I think the easier solution, I don't know how many people are using that API. If a lot of people need this, then yeah, I would agree we should do that. But if it's just 1 or 2 people, I can just send them a list, and then that's an easier solution. While on topic of APIs, can we have one for Clan Wars time slots as well? Yeah, I would really like to add that. You should mail that to me. I think that would be cool. Nobody's ever asked for it yet. It's the first time I've heard a request for it. Or you think lots and miss the obvious and Blender made or something. Lower boot time helps to get... I lost my place. Lower boot times helps to not get out of the loop from the game. Yes, I feel that way as well. As forces to care less against opponents out of your league. As forces to care less against opponents out of your league. I'm not sure exactly what that means. Some people have less free time, so it's not fair. True, but if you have enough time to play the ladder, then it should be fair. If you don't have enough time to play the ladder, then that is a disadvantage. Maybe have a casual ladder and a high level ladder with sensible boot settings. That is a reasonable request. I don't know if there's enough demand to really need 2 ladders. Let's remove auto-changing settings. When you press idle 1 time, idle automatically becomes the default open screen. In Quick Match, when you get a new template, it's automatically in your list. Yeah, this is a request I've heard before. In idle, you can set that if you go to the settings menu. It's the very top setting. It's easy to switch back. In Quick Match, when you get a new template, it's automatically in your list. Yeah, that is a request I've gotten many times. That is something that will probably get added at some point. Vote for it on user voice to make sure your votes is set. Just reduce the maximum limit to month instead of 100 days. I mean, I think it's fine. Some people want to create games with a 100-day boot. That's fine. I think the Clan Wars API is on user voice. It might be. I might have forgotten about it. There's no game feed API for the seasonal. Is that on purpose? Then why? Is there not? I thought the game ID feed should work for all adders. I have no opposition to adding it. You can send me a mail and I'll look into it. I gotta go, but thanks for answering all the questions. You're the bomb.com. Love Warzone. Enjoy the rest of the stream. Thanks. Thanks for hanging out. And thanks for your feedback. Not everyone has the same time. Some people have a busy week and may not have the time and energy to spend an hour every day on 2-day games. This is the advantage. Some monthly games could times 3 days is far fairer. It increases the time that both players will be able to find that hour needed to commit with great moves. Yeah, I mean, your opinion's not wrong. It's just, I have a different opinion. It's fine. It should, but I need to figure out the ID. Yeah, I think that is the problem, yes. I think I may head out also. I don't want to miss any more Eurovision. What is Eurovision? Never heard of this. Okay, so is there anything I've not said about the seasonal ladder? I don't think so. So player Baron, who was here earlier in chat, he picks the templates for the seasonal ladder. He's been doing that for quite some time, for years, and he still is. The only difference is that the seasonal ladder is now going to start on time every 60 days. Or there'll be like maybe 1 day off in between. This is as opposed to in the past where sometimes we've been really lazy about starting it. It's gone sometimes months in between season, which is really bad. That should not happen in my opinion. So now it's automated. So it will always start about a day after the previous season ends. And Baron is in charge of picking the template. If he gets me the template in time, then he still gets to pick it. However, if he does not give me the template in time, then I'll pick it. That's basically the deal. He is now on a deadline, whereas in the past, he had all the time in the world. So I just put this here so you know who's picking the template for the seasonal ladder. It's probably Baron, but it might be me if Baron didn't do it. Template changes, we already talked a little bit. No, none of the templates really changed, just the look of the maps that changed. We changed just some prettier versions of the maps, but they're functionally identical. Notifications have changed quite a bit for the ladders. So we have, the old notifications were really dumb. It just like sent you an email I think like once a week or maybe every few days whenever your rank changed. So it'd be like, hey, your rank went from 107 to 103. Congratulations. Which in my opinion is really dumb. I don't think the old notifications were very useful. The new notifications are much more useful. Like you'll get a notification every time the seasonal ladder ends. It'll tell you who won. It'll tell you what the next template will be. And it will tell you what your final rank is. And it'll tell you all the rewards you got. That's for the seasonal ladder. And for the other ladders, it will give you a notification every week telling you what your rewards you earned, telling you who got number 1 in that ladder, and telling you if you didn't get any rewards, it'll also explain how to get rewards, just so everyone knows how to do that. Okay, I think that's everything to do with the ladder. I might have missed something, but that's not all that's in this update. We have a bunch of non-ladder stuff too. Eurovision is a song contest. It's a song contest from most EU countries. It's a rare event. Interesting. I love Warzone, and people are passionate about the boot settings because they love ladders. I think you are alternating between high-level players, which is change, which is sad. I look forward to the poll. Please include people in the ladder before the change. So yeah, thanks for your feedback, Dry Clean. Don't worry, I'll keep Baron on schedule. He won't be lazy on my watch. Good. Keep on him. Okay, another change in this update. You can now pick your slot. So if you join there's a bunch of custom scenario improvements to this update. So one of the things is if there's an open game with a custom scenario, let's see if I can find one. Is this a custom scenario? Yeah. When you go to join one, first you pick the team, which is a normal thing. And then it will say, dang it, why didn't it do it? Is it not working? Is this feature working? Does anyone know? Custom scenario, random slots, no. How come it didn't ask me which slot I wanted to join? Oops. Let's join one that's not a team. Oh, because I joined a team and there's only one slot in that team, I need to do it on one that's not a team. It's not divided into teams like that. Well, interesting. Is that the way they got around this problem in the past? Where is a custom scenario game that's not teams? Here we go. Many diplos make sure that every slot is their own team, so you can choose which slot to join without leaving and rejoining. Okay, well, people had already worked around this problem, but here we go. If you join a non-team custom scenario game, it will now say this game uses a custom scenario to determine where each player starts. You want to pick one at random, or pick one, or get assigned one at random. So if you click random, it works exactly as it always has in the past. You would just get a random one. If you click pick, though, then you get this nice little map where you can see all the slots that are available. And then you also have this button on the left that says hide unavailable. If you turn that off, you can kind of toggle between that to see which ones are available. So right now, only A, which is over there, L, W, and AG are available. So you can like zoom in on these and be like, all right, do I want AG? And if you turn off hide unavailable, then you can see all the slots. So you can see who's in them. So you can be like, oh, spec is up here. Who's spec? This is spec. Do I want to be next to spec? Can I even be next to spec? No. All the slots. Oh, I could be an L. Yeah, I could be like L. And they have this button on the left that says claim L. If you click that, then you'll join the game with L. So this is something here for any game that uses a custom scenario, but I know diplomacy players will really like this. You can kind of analyze and pick your slot. I can't play quick match because the game prioritized matching people quickly instead of trying to find people with the same skill. I always match with inexperienced players and I don't want to make them feel bad by making them lose constantly. So are you talking about real-time quick match or multi-day? Because multi-day, you'll end up getting better matches. With real-time, you're limited to people who happen to be online and searching for a game at the exact same moment as you. So yeah, I would suggest you try multi-day. You'll probably get much better matches. Okay, so that's slot picking. Another custom scenario improvement is mega games. So now you can design custom scenarios for up to 400 players, which is crazy. I don't know if anyone's actually done this yet. This has been live for like a few days. But when you come in here to change army settings, initial distribution. Oh, and if you don't know what custom scenarios are, you probably have no idea what I'm talking about. Custom scenarios are a feature that let you choose where everybody starts. So I can be like, one player starts here, another player starts here, another player starts here. And now you can go all the way up to slot, what is it? OT, overtime, OJ. Wait. I clicked OT and it says OJ. MV? What? Okay, we got some bugs. It's not even doing the right slot. Well, let me write this down. Where did this get messed up? Is it because of neutral? No, neutral's at the top. BX doesn't even work. AH works. Can I press down? AI, AJ, AK, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y. Oh, look, it's messed up here already. AU, AV, AW, BI. It goes from AW to BI. It goes from AW to BI. All right, I'll get that fixed because the letters on the left are wrong. So yeah, but you can design up to 400 players now, custom scenarios. Cool. The only catch is that you have to use this. Oh, there's a new feature, custom scenarios, called randomized slots. If you check this box, then people don't get to choose what slot they get. Instead, they'll get a random one. This is mostly added for mega games. If you're going to make a 400 player custom scenario, you have to use randomized slots. That's there so that people can't like cheat and give themselves like a really better spot. So it's fair for everyone. There is a 400 game I'm in it with custom scenarios. This is specifically what I'm asking about. Ladders and Bioamerica, the best map of Warzone. Oh, they will. Scenario makers are crazy. I don't know where they find the time to make those things. Yeah. This is something that I added because people asked for it a lot. The ability to have mega games with mega games and custom scenarios. So I'll be interested to see if people actually use it. One of my fears is that all the people that were asking for this really just wanted to like make themselves more powerful. And when they find out that they can't do that and it's actually going to be a fair game, they'll be like, oh, I don't want that anymore. So we'll see. We'll see if anybody actually uses it. I have a sneaking suspicion that people will not use it. But it's good to have the option of it regardless. Okay, so added the ability to sort friends by how recently they've been online. So this was something I actually got feedback from in the previous stream that I did back in, was it February? When you are looking at your friends list, would it be possible to change the rating system in Quick Match so new players get a question mark rating for the first 10 games like in chess? Because often new players in a new account have a lot more skill, like level 1 players. They can't grind ranking because you get big down ranking against people if you lose. I do want to do something kind of like that. I do think Quick Match ratings should be more volatile for new players. Because right now it takes a long time to get up to a good rating where you'll get like matched against people that aren't just like getting booted. That is something I have on my list that I do think we need to work on. The rewards for getting a high rank in multi-day Quick Match. I have no plans on doing that. Quick Match is not really a ranked scenario. I know there are leaderboards, but it's not really the intention for you to be competing with leaderboards. It's more of like it's more a casual thing. So now you have this button, online now. There we go. You can sort all your friends by who's online right now. They have this little green dot. JK, you're not online? Come on. Call shenanigans. You've been called out. All right. Where was I? Add ability of who is online when forwarding tournament invites. So the tournament invites page got a bunch of updates, or maybe this is the only update. But when you go to any tournament, I don't know if I have a tournament right now that I can forward invites. Oh, forward invites. This page is now UJS, so it gained all the functionality that the other page has, and you can see little circles here for people that are online. If you're making a tournament that you want to start quickly, could be a very useful feature. I'm in line. None stopped since after launch. Maybe the system is broken then. Check global chat if you need proof. I don't know why it would be broken. Where is your... What does your profile say? Phew, you're here. That would have been embarrassing. So I seen this 15 minutes ago. Yeah, you should have had a circle. Do I have a different JK3 on my friends list? Sort by online now. Oh, is it just because the circle's green and your color's green? No, I thought I fixed that bug. No, because people up here aren't online. I don't know why it shows you as not online. Yeah, that's weird. Maybe it's a bug. I'll look into it. Okay, I made a note of that. Can we get diplomacy game templates in quick match multi-day? So quick match templates are determined by player voting. So if the community votes it in, you can. I don't know if that will ever happen, to be honest. I don't know if it's popular enough. I don't know if quick match is the right vehicle for diplomacy games. But if the community votes it in, then it's in. If the community does not vote it in, then it is not in, which is currently the case. All right, where are we at? Did I lose my blog post? Add the ability to view who is online when searching for players by name. Again, this is something where I just added this. This is when you go to community player search and you're like, it doesn't show it. Who's online? Well, it should show it. I don't know why it's not there. It might be a bug, but I'll look into it. It should be there. That's what this is trying to say is added. Maybe it's not working. Add the ability to turn off chat dialogue in the app settings. So the chat dialogue, when you are in a game that has a ton of chat, that can happen in like diplomacy games when people have been talking for years and a lot of chatter. One of the problems in the app used to be that if you click the load older chat button on a game that just had tons and tons of chat, that your app would just crash. This happened very commonly on iOS and Android, and it was something people complained to me a lot about. So what happens in the previous update is this thing called the chat dialog opens, which basically shows the chat in a little pop-up dialog, and it's paged, so it doesn't crash. Some people don't like it, so I now have the ability to turn it off. You can just go to the settings menu and uncheck the box. Also, it used to open up on any game that had more than 100 messages. Now it requires 300 messages to open. So it should come up less often, and you can turn it off if you really want to. Although, if your app crashes, you might want to turn it back on. Thanks for the fun game. Playing off and on since 2017. Just pick it up again. Starting playing idle. It's so fun, so frustrating, slow. Thanks, Rocket Beezy. Thanks for the kind words. I'm glad you enjoy the game, and thanks for the subscription. It starts off slow, but get faster and faster over time. Yes, that is what makes it satisfying. When hovering over the clock in the upper right corner, it now explains which timer is the turn and which timer is the banked. This is just something to make it slightly more clear to new players, because it used the little hover thing would talk about the turn timer and the bank timer, but didn't identify which was which. So now it actually identifies which is which, just to make it easier to understand. When invited players tournament, the ability to sort players by several different things, including sorting by name. Yes. So when you forward invites, you now have a sort button, which didn't exist before. Come on. Sort up here. Sort by online now. Oh, there you go. You're online, JK. Congratulations. So yeah, that was not an option before. And you can sort by all these other things. It's the same sort options you have when inviting games. Added critical sounds volume to the app settings. This is if you go to your name and click on app settings. If you're on a UJS page, you get this. This is, by the way, where you can turn off the chat dialogue, which should be here. Why is it not here? Where's chat dialogue? I suspect it's working in the standalone app, but not, or the iOS and Android app, but not the website. Let's see. Let's bring this over here. Settings. Yeah, here we go. Chat dialogue. This is where you turn it on and off. And you can also now have, what was I talking about? Critical sounds. Oh yeah, this critical sounds checkbox and slider used to only be in the app. Now it is in the app and on the website right here. You used to not be able to configure the sound, which was really dumb. When inviting players to your clan, a green circle now shows accounts that are online. Very useful, essential. Not a big deal, of course. It's just there because the data was available, so I figured why not show it? And maybe you were just talking to someone who asked you to invite them to your clan, and you know they're online, so it will be easier to identify them. If you're trying to invite John, there's thousands of Johns, you search for John, the one that's online might be the one you were just talking to. Let me put it this way, the ones that are online are going to be more likely to be the ones you were just talking to. Okay, so that's all I added this section, miscellaneous added features. And then you have other, which is just like a bunch of bug fixes and smaller changes. So like the Ladders Tournaments and Clan Wars link on the website used to be under community. Now it's under multiplayer. And there's this little note at the bottom. It says note. Ladders Tournaments Clan Wars are now located under multiplayer. This is just here temporarily. After some time, I'll remove this. But it's there in case you pull the drop down, you're like, what? Where'd it go? You know to move over here. Retrain yourself. I know it's always hard to retrain yourself when you're talking about UI, but it's just a more logical place for them. The Ladders and Tournaments are in multiplayer on the app, so they should be under multiplayer on the website too, just to make it consistent. Hide empty merc camps, please. Yeah. Create a user voice for that. And Idle, have you considered the option of sorting dig sites by dig time instead of dig price? I have not. I thought price was the best, but I could certainly add an option to sort them for people that want it. You could add that to user voice. Even if people vote for Diplomacy Game and Quick Match, it'll be unreachable for new players to unlocking temples one by one. I mean, if enough people vote for it, it'll be like the very top of the list, or be like the number 7, I think, which is the top community voted. You're assuming that only a few people are going to vote for it, not a lot. Didn't you add the tag system fix that problem? Yes, the tag system is the primary way of fixing that problem. The online circle is really just added because the data's there, so why not show it? I called to thank you for the best game of all time, the GOAT. Thanks, I'm glad you enjoy it. Thanks for stopping by. The market strat, people have so much money, the price of dig sites doesn't matter anymore. How about an option for sorting digs by type as well as cost? Good idea, yeah. If you sort it by time, I think you will... No. You will also sort it by type? Is the time roughly consistent with the type? I can't remember now. Yeah, we already talked about this. P&M, if you want to zoom in with your keyboard, this is something that used to work. I think it broke in one of the earlier updates. You have hotkeys on your keyboard that can zoom you in and out. They used to work a long time ago, and then it got broken a while ago, so it's now fixed again. It's been listed on the wiki, but it didn't actually work until now. Fix the size of the yellow highlight. There were a couple fixes in the yellow highlight. What I'm talking about is when you attack a neutral, it highlights number 6. This used to be like a really wide highlight. Now it looks a little nicer. That's all it's saying. And it fixed a bug with the yellow highlight with commanders. Removed Apple and Facebook. We talked about this earlier in the stream. You can report players directly from the app. Yeah, this is something that should have been here a long time ago too. If you're on an app, if you play on the iOS or Android app and you need to report someone, it used to redirect you to the website, which isn't too bad, except you would have to log into the website and you might not remember your password. You'd have to go through the whole rigmarole of logging in again. So it's much nicer now. You can just report it directly in the app without having to do any of all that. Fixed a bug. Fixed allowing nudging someone right after adding them to a game. This is a bug that existed, I think, since like 2010 or something like that. This bug has existed for a long time. You could invite, if you made a game, so normally you can't nudge someone right after creating a game. It takes a full 24 hours of them not responding before you're allowed to nudge them. But if you create a game, wait the 24 hours and then invite someone. Then you could nudge them immediately, which was really dumb because the recipient of this would get an invite and a nudge. They basically get 2 notifications back to back, or maybe an hour apart or whatever you did. which is really dumb because nudge is there. Nudge is supposed to be for people that haven't moved or haven't fulfilled their obligations in a while. So that's fixed. I'd like to know what dig offers without having to click it. Yeah, I agree. Does the highlight work in luck games? No, it only is no luck games. Fix a bug with quick match for templates with configure. Oh, this is something that people have been asking for a while. There was this issue in the old quick match system where if a template, let's say you unlock a new template that just got voted into level 40, you don't like it, you uncheck it, and then it gets voted out, as in something else replaces it because people change their votes. And then if you go to your template page and change one of your templates, like you check or uncheck something completely unrelated to the template that we're just talking about, it would forget that you had unchecked the template that's no longer in the list. So then if it then gets voted back into the lists, you would get another notification that you unlocked it and it would be checked again by default. So that was the bug in the old system. That's now fixed. So if you uncheck a template now, it will stay unchecked forever, that template. The only thing is you have to uncheck the template after this update went live. So basically in the last 5 days or any time from now on. If you unchecked it before the update, it will still come back one last time, but that should be the last time. Uncheck it one last time and then it will save forever. For the new players, can we make a tutorial that directs them to the join clan page to make them more engaged with the community? They need a community to learn how to play the game. I think we do have a need for new player tutorials. I don't know if we need to direct them to the join clan page. They should be able to find that join clan page. It's in the top right drop down in the app. It's kind of hard to miss. If you click this, it's join a clan. It's right here. It's pretty near the top. And if they open up chat, they'll get this message that says, "You're not in a clan. Join a clan." I think most people are aware of that link if they spend any time exploring the buttons in the app. But maybe it needs to be easier to see. I don't know. Not for us, but new players to learn quicker. Instead of loop of join, inactive, kick, they go inactive after 2 games. A good way to make Warzone noob friendly would make a decent AIs on small Earth to make several levels of progressing difficulty. Yeah, I do think more tutorials is needed for new players. That is something I am thinking about. In fact, this update was originally envisioned as a ladder update and add in some like strategic player tutorials at the same time. Like those two features went well together. But the ladder update just took so long that everything non-critical had to be punted. But it's still on my radar. It is something I'm thinking about doing. Fixed mega games getting laggy when the clock is updating every second. That was just something somebody reported to me. Fixed tournament creation so it doesn't give negative counts anymore. If you created a game that was too big with like billions of people, it would eventually go negative, which is a bug. It's fixed. Fix the green circle so it's visible on players with the green color. That's what we were talking about a minute ago, earlier. Put the tutorial update in single player as well, please. Surrender tutorial. I think the surrender tutorial is fine coming up once you actually get booted, because you don't necessarily need it before then. Maybe. I guess like, I see the argument of giving it to people before then, but I don't know. I could think about it. Fix argument orders not being saved after set by mod. Just a little bug fix. Another bug fix. Little bug fix. These are all just bug fix. I don't need to read through them all. They're fairly minor bugs, and I'm not going to go through a couple little things added for the mod, and we already talked about this. Okay. Whew. That's the update. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go through all the questions asked on the forum. So this thread, I let people that couldn't be here today ask me questions on this forum thread. So we're going to go through this, and then I'll continue answering questions from the chat. So feel free to ask if you have any. And then after that, that'll probably be the end of the stream. I need a drink of water. The surrender tutorial doesn't work when people play to elimination instead of boot. That's true. I kind of feel like that's almost a self self-taught system. I mean, I guess some people legitimately don't know how to surrender, so they just keep playing. Thanks for the subscription. The last Clan Wars slot of the day is on. Will you play? I won't play during the stream. I don't know. Or maybe I will play during the stream. I don't know. Let's see the templates. Do I want to play any of these? Ooh, I have lots of options. Okay. We'll play during the stream. Turn on sound. 9 minutes. Okay, I need to not forget. I don't want to cover chat, but I want to put it somewhere where I can see. Will there be another Fizzer Play stream? I think many people would like to see you play games like Frostpunk or The War of Mine. Frostpunk. Frostpunk. Is that the board game? I don't know what The War of Mine is. I haven't played that. Oh, I'm thinking Frosthaven. Wow, I've never even heard of those games. I am interested in playing the new Zelda game. Has anyone played it? Is it good? I did not play Breath of the Wild, but I watched a playthrough of Breath of the Wild, and that made me say, I want to play the next Zelda game. I like the open world aspect. I didn't really like the shrines. At least as much. But I said, oh, the next game's going to be better. Fizzer Boot has to complete the boot tutorial on stream. The boot tutorial will only come up if you have a very high boot rate, or your first boot. Your very first boot, it will happen. And after that, it will only come up if you have a high boot rate. I think like above 30% or something like that. See you later, Hangfire. Thanks for hanging out. Thoughts on this game? CF chat. Dang it. It didn't. It opened in the wrong browser. Why did it open in the wrong browser? Check out the end of this game. I just wanted to... I don't know what you're trying to point out. You need to tell me what you're trying to point out in that game. I'm not going to read all the chat. Single player seems to be the least played one, probably due to each level unnecessarily long time. Single player seems to be the least played one? We can solve this by making level maps smaller and one by specific ways. Yeah, there are a lot of people that play single player. I don't know if it's the least played. There are a lot of people that play it. But yeah, I agree many of the maps are very large and it takes a long time. And I would like to do something else with single player. I think it needs some kind of overhaul, but I don't know exactly how to do it. It needs some more like progression. Would be fun if there was a boot tutorial if you've never booted before. Yeah, that's exactly how it works. If you've never been booted before the very first time. Oh, I see what you're saying. As in give it to you even though you've never booted? Yeah, that would be weird. What are the games in this time slot, please? There is Small Earth 1 Wasteland, Strategic 1v1, Strategic 2v2s, the Multi-Attack one, and the Bomb Card one. It would need rewording, yes. Okay, we already talked about this. Ladder's been moved, we already talked about that. Forgot to shrink the community tab scroll range in the standalone client. I did forget to shrink the community tab scroll range in the standalone client. I will get that fixed. Thank you for letting me know. Mega games will be playable in single player someday. We talked about that. Short boot times incentivize stalling to see if your opponent gets booted. Yeah, we talked all about the boot times. Will the ladders page be more visually appealing? I would like it to be more visually appealing. I actually, as I said earlier in the stream, I'm not really happy with the way the ladders page looks. I would like it. I would like to improve it. Yes. Why are the highest ladder ratings and rank gone? I think that was a mistake. They should come back. I'll fix that. Will seasonal ladder be affected by the update other than the shorter duration? Yes. The bugs with Clan Ward's last slot, with 31 players, 4 of them are from however one person didn't get a game. I don't think that's a bug. I think that's just the way the algorithm works. The no games were because their clan was low. Yeah, I think you're just answering his question. Okay, I have a question regarding creating new games. Is it feasible to get a randomizer for the amount of players and team options? Can work in 2 ways. Manually select the number of players and then randomize the options. 12v12, 8v8, 60-64, or FFA. You want it to be random, as in You want people who are joining to not know which of these options they're going to get, or you want to just create a game and have it pick one of these options when you create it. It's not clear to me exactly why anyone would want that. Another option is to randomize the amount of players and teams. Amount of players based on what is suitable for a map. You cannot have 100 players amount of data turns. I mean, you can create a big, like, 40-player game. I mean, you can create a game of any size and then use the start game button to start it when it's particular size. I mean, if you wanted to just randomize when you create the game, you can just roll a die and create the one of the particular size. If you want people to not know what they're joining until it starts, that seems kind of weird. I'm not sure why anyone would want that, but maybe you can tell me why you want that. Can the Clan Wars time slot be shifted with the summer-winter time? For example, CET with the winter slots was blah, 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 blah. And the summertime is shifted plus 1 hours. So this Warzone server uses the UTC time zone, so it doesn't move. If they are shifting, if you want them to shift, I think that would just be confusing. Not everyone around the world shifts their time zone. And the US is even talking about stopping shifting their time zone as well. I don't think it's a good idea to move it just because time zones are so inconsistent around the world. I think it should be fixed. If your time zone is moving, then it will shift relative to you, but it's not shifting. Some time ago, I launched a small campaign with other mod custom scenarios about using mods in the custom scenario builder. I started to use Voice ID and create a forum thread about this. You asked the question what kinds of mods we want used in custom scenario and why it would be useful. Now, it's been a while since all that. You're busy with the update. I don't remember ever getting a good answer to my question of what mods would you create with this functionality. Like, when I'm evaluating whether or not it makes sense to add features to a mod, the first question I have is, can I think of 5 examples of mods that would be created with this functionality? If I can't, it sounds like it might not be that great of a feature. And I remember asking, and I don't remember ever getting an answer. I would like to hear from you. Like, give me 5 concrete examples of mods that could be created with this. Like, just to help me envision, like, what it would be used for. Like, I'm not saying you have to make the mods. Just give me ideas on, like, why this functionality should exist. The only thing I can think of is, like, if you want to default special units into a game, into a custom scenario game. I don't know how useful that is, but it could be useful. I've got more questions. Something that's good to make it easier to pick maps. Moment 2,700 maps, which is incredible. I don't think there's any game in the world that can be played on so many different boards. Yes, the maps are incredible. Not only thinks maybe about other more map creators. This gives us some. I also just realized I should zoom in when I read this. Many people are watching on a stream on a device where they can't. Crap, now I lost my place. All right, on the website, every page picking the map and creating a game has 50 maps. That means 54 pages possible in this strat. If you want to go page 20, it's quite challenging to get there. There's another option to easily scroll through the map pages. So one way of doing it is you can always come to the website. And if you go to community maps, you get this, and you can set it to per page all. And you can literally see all the maps on one page. You can just scroll. You can also do Control F and find things. And then when you find the one you want, you can always click examine this map in detail. If you do this from an iOS or Android device, it should forward you to that map. Or you can say start a multiplayer, start a single player game. That's an easier way of doing it. Close this. Maybe an option to select maps for local deployment filter. They should not have overlapping bonuses. Yeah. Another thing I'd like to see more maps do is use these tags. So I don't know if you all know, but we have this new tags feature. Where are the tags? So this is tagged as real world, and anyone can edit tags for any map. So like, this is American Revolutionary War. You can come in here and you can check like, what is that? I don't even know what would qualify. I guess U.S. Is there the United States? No United States tag? Well, anyway, this tags is another way of categorizing maps that I feel like is underused. A lot of maps are still not tagged, and anyone can tag any map. So that's another way of organizing maps. I know it's not exactly what you're asking for, but it is relevant. It's in the same sphere. Examples of mods using custom scenario builder hook. Place custom units and buildings. Banner interface for one-way connection mod. Oh, I'm not familiar with that mod. Mod I'm working right now sets the kill and death rates. Per territory, 4, one of the mini mods Dutchman is working on. 5, one of the mini mods UFO is working on. Well, these aren't really examples, but yeah, I appreciate the effort. Let's see, let me pick real fast here. Oh crap. I'm much faster on a mobile device. That was not good. I missed my clicks. Once I saw the wasteland in Australia, I realized I needed to pick very quickly. Oh, I still won. He took 9 seconds. Okay. All right, so now let's think. Now that we can actually think. So, his commander's not there. His commander must be in Eastern United States. Cool. So, I think I want to hit here. Let's see. Okay, that's fine. He deployed everything in South Europe. Okay, I can see every army he has. And I have first move. So, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, plus 5 is 16. Enough to be safe. 9 plus 5 is 14, which kills 8. I cannot be safe. I cannot be completely safe. So I gotta make I gotta risk one. I should put more armies in South America. I mean, knowing what he did, I should have. I'm gonna play Clan Wars, maybe offset the forum post. Maybe offset the forum post here? What if he's stream sniping? Then I'm already lost. Can we form parties with 1 to 2 friends, play 2v2, 3v3 quick match with friends? Not really, because you can't determine who you get matched with. Is there any chance I could be safe by attacking? If he puts 14 here, I can kill 5. No, it'd still be not enough. That's fine. We can still win this. I do want to get a card. Well, I'm either going to get a card or hold my bonus with these orders. So let's do this. Okay, I held my bonus. And got a card. Great. How do you know if you have first move? So this is a game that uses the no luck cyclic move order. And in that game, you can just click game right here, and it will tell me right here, you will get second order this turn. Not all games will have this. If the game you're playing in doesn't have this, you should check the settings, go down to move order right here. And if you're playing in a game that says it's cycle, so this is no luck cyclic. In that case, you can just click here and you can see it. But in a normal cycle game, then you take turns. Basically, one player gets first, then the other player gets first. So you don't know the game. You don't know the move order right at the start of the game. But as the game goes on, you can eventually see who has first move in one turn, and then you know it for the rest. GG. I know we currently can't key with friends for 3v quick match right now. Can we make it a thing? You can add it to user voice. I don't know if it will ever be a thing. It would be a hard sell because it would enable cheating. People could use alt accounts. That's one of the nice things about quick match right now is you can't really very easily use alts in team games. Is it illegal to give advice to clan members while they are playing in clan wars? No, it's not illegal. Alright, players lost away in the forest maps want to try a new map. A randomizer button instead of random map would be nice. Yeah, that'd be cool. You should put that in user voice. It can give nice gameplay if everything went technically smoothly. He's talking about custom scenarios and mods. On the negative side, I don't know if all mods can be combined with custom scenario. Maybe bugs can be created anymore. I mean, this would be a feature that would only be enabled if the mod added support for it. So I don't think that's... You wouldn't have to test every mod with it. Do I stream often? Usually only after updates. Hey Ruthless, how's it going? Are you the Ruthless from like over a decade ago? About the possibility to create some mods. Cannot be used in custom scenario, but there are way a lot of mods used in custom scenario build, but it should be cheap at adding a new mod hub. Yeah. We got Ruthless and Lalawat. What is this? 10 years ago? I have to go do math. It's going to be like, what is this, 2013? I don't remember what year it is. I have to look over at the date. To extend my first one to explain it, maybe we want this kind of features in mod creator because of the difficulty we have in currently not knowing the map details when the player configures all the settings. Me and other mod creators have numerous amazing mod concepts that require some configuration with knowing the map details. If mods are able to have map details. Yeah, and we can talk more about this offline. I don't want to get too deep into the mod things during stream. But I also wonder if part of this solution is just more options for creating UI during game creation. Might be an alternative solution, maybe even a better solution. I'm not sure. Because if we put it in custom scenarios, then it's only available to games that use custom scenarios. Some of the features you're thinking of might actually want to be used outside of custom scenarios. Maybe. I don't know. Something we need to talk through. Thanks for the description. Back when Warlight was running on Silverlight. Yep, those were the days. For those who don't know, this game was originally in Silverlight before it moved to Flash, before it moved to HTML and JavaScript. Silverlight was like a Microsoft competitor to Flash that never really took off. Yeah. Can we get the option to change the date format from month to month, day to day, month to month? Yeah. This is something I agree that Warzone is not consistent with. Like you can see here on the forums, it says 5/10 for May 10th, which is objectively the worst date format system. The only reason it uses that is because that's what's used in like North America, and that's what most people that play are in North America, and the Warzone servers are in North America, so they use the stupid date system. I actually prefer to change it to like I'm trying to type year, month, day. That's my preferred format because then it's consistent and everybody knows what it is. Yeah, this is exactly what JK is saying. And what's worse is Warzone's not even consistent in itself. In some places it uses this. In some places it already uses... Shoot, I lost my tab. In some places it already uses year, month, day. I agree it should be consistent. It's just something I haven't really focused on and spent time on. Use month, year, day. Yeah, there we go. Perfect. Let's just randomize it. So every time you load the page, you get a random date format. Are you going to do something with the ridiculous number of players having best rank first as joining the ladder the day it was revamped? Yeah, so ladders now allow people to tie in ranks. I talked about that earlier. And so the day after or immediately after the reset, everybody had the exact same rating, and therefore everybody had the best exact same rank. I did reset it like a couple days after that, so it would be set to your best rank at the time of that reset, which I think worked fine for the 1v1 ladder, but maybe the 3v3 was still had too many tie people, and maybe we need to do it again. Why are vacations not honored on seasonal games? So the seasonal ladder really needs to finish in 60 days. So if somebody takes a vacation right in the middle, it's gonna be really hard for them to finish. Be sure they finish all of their games. In my opinion, vacations should not be involved in the ladders, should not be used on the ladders at all. And it's always been the case you can't start a vacation while you're in a ladder. That's been the truth since the vacations were first added. Why not have the date format as a preference? Yeah, that's obviously the best. I mean, the best solution is it should detect your local date format and just use your date format. That is possible. Complaining about the ladder UI and boot changes, we talked about that. Why is Quick Match still limited to 40 templates? I mean, At the time when Quick Match was created, the other rotating template system we had was limited to 10 templates. So 40 is a big step up. And 40 is, there has to be a limit, right? You can't just have infinite. I think 40 is a reasonable number. Thank you for addressing the ladder in new update. After teaching communities and streaming it for so long, as much appreciated you get there. I want to thank you for addressing the main issue that's been brought up so often to the rating system and improved a lot. Great. I have a couple questions though. Why have there been so many discussions about the boot time and UI? I'm sure your decision is backed on lots of data. Would you mind sharing bits with us to understand better? The ladder UI is really built for mobile design. How many people are really playing ladders from mobile? Well, prior to this update, none, because it wasn't available on mobile. It was only available on the website. But in general, there are more mobile players than there are website players. So, and that number is only growing. That ratio is only growing. It is skewing more towards mobile. So as a general philosophy, my philosophy is all features should be available in both places. You don't want to have a feature that's only available on one platform and excludes everyone else. Do you have data recording players in relation to boot times? For example, I can imagine you found most people only take their turns every 3 days, still log in 5 times a day in the meantime. Maybe. I don't have that data. I have not looked at that data. It's more, have you compared 1-day boots with 3-day boots and potentially the boots didn't increase tournament and move along much faster? I have not looked at the data, but I sure would imagine that games with 1-day boot finish much faster than games with 3-day boot. Even the ones that don't end in boots, which is a good thing. Faster games are always better. Why do ladders no longer specifications? We talked about that. Before anything, I have to thank you for implementing such changes. Most of them are good for the first time in a decade. Stream starts at 2 a.m. my time. Sorry you missed it. BBJ is basically the criteria of reducing ladder boot time. We talked all about this. We talked about this for over an hour. We're good. Would you consider placing the multi-template ladder on the ladder page as well? Why or why not? So the multi-template ladder is a community-run event. It is not run by me. It's not a built-in Warzone feature. It's a community feature. So therefore, it's on the community events tab, which is what it is. Would you consider changing the template of the 2v2 or 3v3 ladder someday? Maybe one for less likely to believe in the future. Sure, I'd be open to changes. That's up to... We can talk about changes with the community. The 3v3 ladder is one I actually don't know very well. I have not played a lot of the 3v3 Europe. That really came out of the community. They invented it. And then I just wholesale put it on the ladder because so many people asked for it. And if enough people want it to change, that should change. If one argues Cecil is identical to 1v1, the congratulations, most consistent player in the... Most consistent player in both playing and installing wins seasonal. I don't think that's true. As clarified by many others, booted players will leave the ladder immediately. You can always rejoin. So I didn't make this clear when I was talking about it before, but if you get booted from a ladder, nothing is preventing you from just going back onto the ladder. It's just you have to take the steps to go to the ladder and click the join button again. And you'll get a notification too. It'll be like, you've been booted out of the ladder. You can rejoin if you want. So, yeah, I don't think it's true. You'll still count as a loss on that game, of course, but I don't think people who are getting booted a lot are going to win, and I don't think people that stall a lot are going to be the winners either. And it's limited on how much you can stall. If there's only 1 day of base time, you use up your bank time in the very first turn because you're intentionally stalling. What's on your mind for the future roadmap of the game? I can share one thing. So one thing I've been working on, I actually worked on this before the ladders. So part of what I was saying earlier is one of my goals is to have consistent features across all platforms between iOS, Android, and the web. And there's one feature that's still actually only on iOS and Android that's not available on the web. And that's this, 3D maps. So this, what you're looking at right here, is Small Earth map in 3D running in a web browser. This is Firefox. You can see the Firefox logo up here. Oh, crap. So I've done some work just to make a little demo where I actually get it rendering. And this is just using WebGL. This is not using Unity. This is pure JavaScript. So this is And this is just a prototype. There's still a lot of work left to do to turn this into an actual playable thing in the game. But it is a 3D map running in a browser that is not slow. Like you can see, it loads instantly. Boom, refresh, refresh, refresh. It is not slow like the old Unity client used to be, where it took like 30 seconds to load. I'm never going back to that. But if I can get this to work loading quickly and working in the browser, we could have 3D maps in the browser. That's something I'm thinking about. Can you have an official roadmap maybe? Most of the time I'm not going to be announcing what I'm working on, but this is an exception. So, what changed when you decided to allow 40 plus player games? You were against it for quite a while, I remember. I was never against it. I've always wanted to add this Mega Games feature. Mercer actually never wanted me to add it. He used to always poo-poo that idea, and I'd be like, come on, let's do it. He was like, nah. But eventually I got to it. Eventually I just did it anyway. But I was never against it. I was just, what you might be remembering is me saying, like, people are asking for, like, to have the player limit raised from 40 to 50, and they wanted, like, open access to make as many 50-player games as they wanted. That was what I was against. I was never against it in terms of just allowing it in a whole. And part of the reason for that is because big games should be rare. What I didn't want to have happen is I didn't want to have a situation where you open up the open games list and there's like 50 games of 400 people. Each one of them has like 5 people in them. So they're clearly never going to start. Like, that's an unhealthy situation. And if it was free to create, that's what we would have. I know this because we used to have this situation with open tournaments. Back in the day, it was possible to create a tournament for free, open tournaments, and people would create like these 1,000 people tournaments, and then when you'd go to open tournaments, and there'd be like 300 of them, and they'd all have like, be less than 5% full. And it was a really bad situation because nobody was incentivized to join any of these tournaments because they were clearly never going to start. And when you did, if you were a new player and you didn't know what you were doing and you joined a tournament, it would just sit there for sometimes months or years. And eventually it would start, and everyone would get booted because most of those people joined like a year ago and didn't play anymore. So it was just a terrible system. It didn't work. And the solution, and really the reason that happens is because people love creating big tournaments. And they think like, yeah, everyone's going to love this tournament. I'm going to create a 1,000-person tournament. Everyone's going to join it. It's going to be great. And the problem is you need a ratio of, for every person that wants to make a 1,000-person tournament, you need 1,000 people willing to join tournaments. And that ratio is skewed towards the creation side. So the way you fix that is you require coins to be in the tournament. You require coins to create the tournament, which is doubly good because now the tournament has a reward because those coins go towards the reward. So that incentivizes people to join, and it disincentivizes people to create, which skews the ratio back towards a healthy system, which is what we have now, a system that actually works. Whereas if you go to the open tournament section, you will see tournaments that actually start and that actually fill up and that actually play. And the way I price these is basically, if you want a healthy number of tournaments here, right? You don't want 300 in this list. You also don't want 0 in this list. You want a healthy number somewhere between like 1 and 5, I think is a good number. And so I price the coins for tournaments based on, basically, if this ever gets empty, it means tournaments are too expensive. Nobody wants to create them. If this list ever gets too long, we're at the point where you have like 20 here, that means tournaments are too cheap. Too many people are creating them. And I kind of tune the coin cost based on that. So you have a healthy number. Right now there's 1, which is fine. So yeah, that's kind of the feeling. And that's everything I just said about tournaments applies to mega games as well. You want them to be rare events. You don't want them to be so common that there's 5 being played every day or 5 being created every day. You want them to be fairly rare. I remember when Auto Boot came into standard and people rioted. Yeah, it's funny. I remember when I did the first ladder launch, I decided to use Auto Boot on it, and I thought that was going to be a controversial decision. I thought people were going to be upset, and then nobody was ever upset. Nobody ever said anything. I think I wrote, if you go back and dig up the blog post when I first launched the ladders in 2011, I was like, oh, people are going to be upset about this. And then no one was ever upset. Even if they did start it just brick because no one could get a new game. Yeah. Now every clan matcher has a copy of every template with the level requirement set to 99 to make it private. Yeah, you can do that. I'm a clan manager. I have copies of these templates. Please give. Okay. 10 to 10 update was a 1 day boot with no bank time. 24 hours is plenty of time as is. I think the bank time only leads to confusion. Okay. For you, Zeno, I'll do it. Because he didn't put a /s at the end. That means this is 100% serious. That's how I know 100% sure that this is not sarcasm, because there's no /s at the end. I think I found a bug in the last update. If you move Clan Wars to the multiplayer tab, but when you're looking at the Clan Wars, it shows the community tab as white. Yes, that was a bug. Thank you for letting me know. It is now fixed. You can get notifications of the tournament if you have entered has ended, but I want to follow tournaments my friends entered too. So great if there's an option to manually select tournaments you haven't entered. That would be an interesting feature. You could add that to user voice. Don't know how many people would be interested in that, to be honest, but that's the kind of thing that I would only add it if a lot of people asked for it. Fixed fun stats that FFAs don't count. Big FFAs and Dippos can destroy stats if you also play 1v1s against the player. You can play 20 Dippos and lose every game, then be 20-0 against them in 1v1s, and it'll still say you beat them 50% of the time. Oh, is that true? Yeah, if that's true, I agree. You should add that to user voice or mail it to me. That shouldn't be the case. I agree that's misleading. The ability to search for people you've sent mail to or received one from, so you don't have to create a new mail for every subject. Search for people you've sent a mail to or received one from. So if you go to the mail tab, you'll see all your mail. If you go to a player you've sent mail to, you can go to send mail and click search existing. A lot of people don't know about this feature, by the way. You can click search existing. You'll see all your mail threads with this person. But you want to find people, search for people you've sent a mail to or received one from. Interesting. It's not clear to me why that would be needed. The ability to message yourself or create notes in game with linkable territories. Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the stream. How much bug testing did you do before rolling out major updates like revamping the ladder? I've seen a lot of broken stuff, and you're starting to wonder. I try to do as much bug testing as I can, but you know how it goes. Nothing survives implementation, right? But yeah, I do try to do as much as I can. I usually spend at least a couple full days just doing a test pass before anything goes live, if it's a big update. But sometimes some things slip through. Do you have plans regarding number of resources mods may use? Like memory usage, number of custom unit images. I don't have any current plans like that right now. But we can talk about it if you need something. What is your plan currently with making mods acquirable for all players like the pick swap mods? No plans at the moment. So this update was not really focused on mods. This update was focused on ladders. Will a real-time ladder come back? I have no plans currently at doing that. Help me create tournaments to spam the tournament page. I think auto boot is 100% needed for a ladder. The way you don't have games drag on. Yes, I agree. Can we get more payment options? PayPal doesn't operate in Turkey. Currently, there's 3 payment options. There's PayPal, the iOS app, and the Android app. And as far as I know, PayPal is the most accepted payment source around the world. That's the reason it's chosen. So I don't know. I can't, as a small developer, I can't support every payment option in the world. It is quite a bit of work to add them. And PayPal, switching from PayPal to something else, I think would just exclude more people than it adds. Speaking of tournaments, I'll put this one in your voice later, but the idea of a new tournament mode, possibly for closed tournaments, being a King of the Hill mode, similar to round robin. In order to win the tournament, you must win at least one game against every other player in the tournament rather than just most games. Could be interesting. I'd like to see it created as a clot first. Custom ladder. Custom tournament. Just because, I don't know, I'm not big on round robin tournaments, and this one seems kind of like a round robin tournament. I feel like most of the time round robin tournaments go over poorly. People join them and don't realize how many games they're going to get, and then they complain. I wonder if crypto payment would be a way. Yeah, supporting crypto payments would be interesting. I have looked into doing that before. Would be nice if we could read other mods' settings so there's greater compatibility between mods. Only need read access, no write. Yeah, that would be interesting. I would fear that would create a lot of brittle mods that like the other mod changes and that breaks your mod. It's something that could be added, but it's also something that could go very, very wrong. So we need to think through it a lot. Favorite board game? I don't know if I necessarily have a favorite. I do play a lot of board games, but I just like exploring a bunch of different mechanics. I like teaching board games and seeing how people learn. Like for me, the fun in board games is bringing a new game that somebody's never seen before, teaching them the rules, and then watching them try to attack the rules and try to, min-max their way to victory. That's what's fun for me. So I like games that have fairly deep strategy, but fairly simple mechanics, like something like, Baron Park, or I don't know what else. I've played a lot of Terraforming Mars and all that kind of stuff. Please accept feedback from community leaders. Absolutely. I accept feedback from everyone. A lot of these players spend their free time and money on your amazing game. They invite their friends, help players learn the game, and do their best to improve the quality of gameplay. The community leaders are more than really care. It'd be nice if feedback heard more often from these people. Absolutely. You're always free to send me mail. I try to reply to every mail that anyone ever sends me. So feel free to send me feedback. If it's a feature suggestion, the right place for it is user voice. I read everything that gets posted to user voice. It gets sent to me as an email. So it gets delivered to my inbox and I read it. But it's better to put it on user voice. That way it gets, tracked and, your votes accumulate over time. Rather, if you send it to me, it's just like, I'm going to forget. But I will read it even if you send it to me. Community candidates would be brilliant. Maybe players would do it. But, yeah, I'm a little wary of being like, only listen to community leaders. Only listen to clan leaders. I want to listen to everybody. I want to hear everybody's feedback. And part of my job is to make sure the new player experience is good too, not just optimize for the hardcore players. Do you have a favorite idle game? Yeah, Warzone Idle. Absolutely. You said you always want to make an idle game and Warzone Idle is new. Yeah, I did play a whole bunch of idle games. I don't know if any one stands out as my favorite, but speaking of board games, have you been having your board game nights recently? Yeah, I had one for my birthday like 2 months ago. I feel like we benefit much from having some kind of shared storage way to set up custom mod hooks. Custom mod hooks? I'm not sure what that means. You should. I'm not going to talk about mod stuff too much on this stream because I know it's only applicable to a very small number of people. So you should mail me this stuff privately. We can talk about it. Global chat, which is much more harmonious place than it used to be because mods are well-selected community members. Shows this way brings benefits if done right. Yeah, people that run global chat are great. Big thanks to all the moderators. Keep everything clean. Definitely feels like the significant disconnect between what Fizzer wants to do as a developer of this game and what the community wants to show multiple times in the past. I mean, my job is to enable the community to build their own systems, right? So like I've added the custom ladders, the clot system, where people can make their own ladders. I add mods so people can write their own extensions to the game. I add a bunch of customization options, and then I let people choose which ones they want to use. That's kind of my philosophy on making this game. And so, yeah, take it, make it what you want. You don't need me. My goal is to make it so you don't need me to do whatever you want. But some people want to influence the ladders, which is like, well, there's only one ladders. Some people, not everyone, it's impossible to satisfy everyone. And how recently the ladder changes, yeah. What advantage would the ladder bring compared to quick match? So the ladders is designed around ranking people and competing for a top rank. Whereas quick match is more designed just for casual fun play. Like there is a leaderboard in quick match, but it's not really it's not what you see, right? When you go to the ladders, the first thing you see is here's the top 5 people. Quick match, you even have to unlock the leaderboards. You can't even see it when you first start. And there's no rewards for being high on the quick match ladder leaderboard, and there probably never will be. It's kind of just a different beast. Also, quick match uses kind of a weird, messed up rating system where it's true skill, but it's also capped on how far you can move. Both the minimum and maximum you move with each game is capped, whereas the ladder is just pure true skill. There's nothing. It's a real EOLO system. How about some multiplayer stuff? Didn't read all the posts. I feel like mega games there should be more experience for just than the winner. For more than just the winner, who else would get it? Top 5? Yeah, Warzone games don't really have a top 5. Like you could say, oh, the person that got eliminated second to last was the second place, but that doesn't really work in practice because whoever's winning can just manipulate and just not kill someone off to make them second place. So I've never been big on giving second place to a game. Did you check the example of mods and scenario, but did you check this thread already? I send it to me offline. I'm not going to talk too much about mods during the stream. Lots of people use mods, even if not people. Most of the stuff you're asking me about is for making of mods. Thanks for Warzone, my daily escape. Good night. Thanks. I'm glad you enjoy it. Thanks for hanging out. Now that Quick Match will remember which templates have been turned off for, cleaning off those settings allows us to disable all new templates. Yeah, I do think that's a good feature. We talked about that earlier. Understanding that auto-enabling templates is the only way to get newbies is something new, but after level 50, I don't need Quick Match template to get past. Yeah. Can you add an option for sorting various lists and idle sorts digs for dig time? Yeah, these are all good feature suggestions, so they should go on user voice. I don't have anything against these. It's just need to weigh it against all the other features that could be added. New colors in the ladder are cool, but can we add some premium color bio coins without patterns for regular noobs? There are some. You just want more. You want premium green? Add it to user voice. If enough people vote for it, I would definitely add it. I have nothing against adding it. It's just, I don't know what people want. What percentage of people play from mobile only and computer only? I think it's like 70%. Well, I don't know only. I just know time spent. Time spent is like 70% from iOS and Android. And then like the other 30% from computers. People are vandalizing map tags for the fictional tags on this map with being countermeasure. The countermeasure is you vote, open it up, click edit, uncheck the one. So negative votes do work. I made sure when I do tags that negative votes work. If you come in here and you uncheck something and save it, I won't do it because it looks like the one you wanted gone is already gone. That counts as a negative vote for the tag you unchecked, and it will cause that one to disappear. So just get real people to vote the correct things. And if somebody's going through and vandalizing a lot and it's becoming a big problem, let me know, and I can come through and I can just like wipe out all of the incorrect votes. If someone's actually being malicious, if they're being malicious, I can come through and I can wipe out all of their votes across all maps, which should fix them all in one fell swoop and prevent them from voting in the future. But it looks like the one you linked me here is already fixed. Would you actually read text message? It's not about reaction to my post. I don't know which message that is. If you had to design boot rates for Clan League, what would you put? I don't know Clan League well enough to answer that question. I've actually never played in it. Do you have any data on how much 3D maps are used? I actually do not. That's an entirely client-side feature. So I actually can't even tell if somebody has 3D maps enabled or not. I have no idea. It's entirely handled offline. But regardless, 3D Maps is not fully rolled out yet. Eventually, 3D Maps is going to be the default. So when you first open the app, you just get 3D Maps. I just haven't done that yet. For one thing, there are still a couple very, very minor bugs with 3D Maps. In fact, one of them I just fixed last night, which will be going out to the iOS app very soon. In fact, 11:50. At 11:50, the iOS app just went live. For those of you on iPhone, that would have been what, like about an hour ago. I just got the email during this stream. The Apple approved the iOS app. It may not be out yet because it was only an hour ago, less than an hour ago. So it might take some time to appear on the App Store, but it should be appearing very soon. And it has a bug fix that I just found last night, which is there was a memory leak involving 3D Maps. And I think that was what was making some people's iOS apps crash when they enabled 3D Maps. it wouldn't have crashed right away, but like if you play with it for a while, eventually your app would crash. That should be fixed now, I believe. If it's not, let me know in the new update. Okay. I'll open this in a tab. I'll come back to it in a second. So yeah, and that'll be in the next Android update as well. So that's the main reason 3D Maps is not default yet, because there are still some bugs with it. Players are getting punished and boot. Yeah, we talked about all this. I made a user script for that a while ago. It allows you to get mails from their profile directly. Okay, good. The no games were because their clan rating was low, and because their clan start was getting matchups low in the matchmaking order if there aren't enough clans. Yeah, we've talked all about this in previous streams. Take a look at SCAD and the locks link was the first day of the current season. A lot of the nightclub who just migrated to an uncapped clan was struggling to get games. Yeah, that will definitely happen for new clans. Especially when you have one clan that migrates to another clan, because usually a new clan is not going to have 40 people playing on the very first day if they're a brand new clan. Usually clans are going to ramp up slowly, but if you migrate to an entirely different clan, yeah, you're going to end up in a situation where it takes a while for the ratings to get up. But once the ratings get up, then that problem fixes itself. So I think it's actually a kind of an apt punishment for migrating to uncapped clan, for migrating to a different clan. That's not really a scenario that I think is a good thing. Some people could manipulate clan wars by making a new clan. Everybody go join the new clan and then play from that clan for a season. And then the next season, make a new clan and everybody go join to that clan. They could try to do that to continually have a low rating and get matched against easier people, which would be unethical in my opinion. And they shouldn't be rewarded for doing that. I think this is almost an unintentional solution to a problem that I did not expect. The last paragraph counters that. It also happened to Prime on the first day of slot 4, despite having 20 opponents match up. They got 6 no games because their matchmaking started them too low. Why is their matchmaking so low? It'll go up. Every time this happens, your rating goes up. So the problem will correct itself. We've talked all about this in previous streams. So every matchmaking algorithm that we could possibly put into Clan Wars is going to have pluses and negatives. It's going to have positives and it's going to have advantages and disadvantages. So just pointing out that a disadvantage exists is not by itself enough evidence to support going to another system. What you need to do if you actually want to make change in this scenario is you need to come up with a different algorithm and let's compare the two. There's advantages and disadvantages to each. And many people have done this, and the problem is they come up with a rating that fixes this problem, but then it creates a problem where top clans are not getting matched against another top clans, which in my opinion is way worse of a disadvantage. So that's why we haven't moved. You can point out disadvantages you want, but if you can't come up with a better system, I don't know of a better system. Let me put it that way. I don't know of a better algorithm that will fix this problem without creating worse problems. If anyone can come up with one, let me know and we'll talk about it. But I don't know of a solution. Okay, let me refresh this thread one last time in case anyone posted anything while I was going over it, because I think that's the end. Top clans are going to go around that by swarming slots. Right, and we don't want that, exactly. We don't want top clans to swarm a slot in order to get easy matches. It looks like you missed Turkey's official term is Turkey now. Can you update maps and profile flag name? So maps are up to map makers. I don't make the maps. You have to ask the maker of a map to update the map. For the flag name, you can mail me about that. I wasn't not aware the name changed. Okay, I'm exhausted. But so this is going to be the end of the stream. So thank you everyone so much for watching. I'm glad you were able to come here and hang out with me. We went over everything in the blog in the update, and we answered all the questions from chat, and we answered all the questions in the forum thread. So thanks everyone. Hope to see you next time. Have a great weekend.